1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let me check over on YouTube. Has it started? Are we live? 10-second delay over on YouTube as per usual. As per usual, are we live according to Streamlabs? We are live. Let me just refresh this page. According to Streamlabs, we are. Okay. So, un momento, I'm trying to multitask here. Let me get the music crunk. Let me get the music crunk. You know which one's my favorite tune right about now. Okay. Music has started. Music has commenced. Okay, let me just try and multitask. Let me try and multitask for the first time. Trying to do something. Trying to do something different for the first time. Where are we? Technology. Okay, hold on. Let me share this. Where are we? Boom. Your boy Raphie. Where's the picture? Your boy Raphie is going into some. There we go. Come on. Give me a picture. No. Doing something different. Join the show or catch the replay. That's gonna have to do. That will have to do. Let me see how it looks over there. Let me see. Nope. Boom. Not the best. Not the best, but not the worst. Okay, that'll have to do. That will have to do. Okay, so putting that aside, let us commence with the show. Good evening, one and all. You're in tune to Live Boxing Talk with Raphie. Raphie just trying to get on the... Raphie trying to get his social media game up. Slowly but surely we're getting there. Slowly but surely we are getting there. Okay, who we got in the house? I'll get to you guys in a second. Yes. It's Live Boxing Talk with Raphie. Or actually, what's the name of the show? Let me go over here. It's Boxing Talk with Raphie, episode 51. And if you're new to this, new to this channel or new to this show, and you don't know what we do over here, well, the secret is in the title. A secret is in the title. We talk boxing over here. Let me just get something up. Let me just get something up right here. Okay. Yeah. That's how we start this thing. We talk boxing over here. A talk boxing. Boxing news. Boxing views. And we share our views with each other. I'm the ringleader. I am Raphie. I am Raphie. I am the Raphie in the title. And every week we gather. Same place, same time. A couple of times a week. To chop it up about current affairs, happenings, fights, and the like. But the first thing or the second thing I have to do, I've already done the first thing, trying the social media thing. The second thing I have to do before we really get into it, is I need to get rid of that. And first and foremost, can you hear the music? Can you hear the music? Let me go over here. Let me do this thing. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna do that thing. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. There you go. Save me a hell of a lot of time. So the link is in the chat. Okay, what's the numbers like? Okay. Warp drive initiated. We have started. What time is it now? How long we been going? Okay. It's good. It's good. It's good. Beats are sounding nice. I have confirmation. Okay. Where do we start? I'm going to warm in. Warm in nice and gently. Okay. So while the area is being populated, while people are responding to the message that the show has begun. While people are responding to the message that the show has begun, I'm going to go ahead and do the roll call. And then we get into a little story. We get into a little 5-minute story time. And then we get straight into the boxing. Okay, so let's clear that off right there. Oh, man. The beats were fine and now they are low. Beats were fine and now they are low. Damn. Let me address that. Let me address the beats. Okay, I think I've crunked it up to a level that I'm satisfied with. If I crunk it up anymore, then I won't be able to hear myself. So I'm happy with that level. Okay, so first things first. Let's do the roll call. Link is in the chat if anybody wants to join. Okay, cool. So roll call. Let's have a look at that roll call. As a matter of fact, before I even do that, yeah, that's a bit too loud for me. You guys are going to have to suffer with low volume. Okay, that's good for me. That is good for me. What's going on? Okay. Right. So first things first. First thing we're gonna do is roll call. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is roll call. Okay. Right. And then we're gonna get into a little 5-minute story, and then we're gonna go straight into the boxing. Allow the area to populate. Okay. So we got the Rocket Reggie. We got the Toby Bartlett. We got the Ped. We have the scrolling down. Rocket Reggie, I think I already mentioned you. Okay, those are the visible peoples in the area. Okay, so where do we begin? So we got the Twitter link. We've got both the show link and the Twitter link in the chat line right now. Okay. Follow me on Twitter. I got that twice. How come that's in there twice? I put that in there twice. Rocket Reggie. Rocket Reggie. Where's your donation, Reggie? I thought he was going to send us a donation, mate. What's going on? What's going on, mate? I thought he was going to send us a donation. What's going on? Donation link is in the chat, and we are joined by none other than EJ Boxing.
Live.
Don't forget the live. Don't forget the live. How you doing, EJ?
I'm good, man. I'm good to be finally back on the show. EJ is back on the Raphael Combat Show. Finally, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, man. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Busy over here. And I know you're probably busy over there as well. Man, this YouTube business, it's time consuming.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I had a busy weekend doing amateurs, boxing, and also Errol Spence and Porter. My prediction didn't come exactly true. I said it was points, Porter and points, but a lot of people feel that Porter won the fight, so I feel better. But at the end of the day, Spence, really after some reflection, that was the hardest fight he's had in his career, and Porter actually stock's gone up, in my opinion. I think his stock's 100% gone up. People need to give him more respect. He is good at what he is good at, and if you're not ready for him, and that's what happens. Errol Spence kind of, and I'd like to see him against Crawford. You know what I mean?
I'd like to see who against Crawford. You like to see who against Crawford?
Sean Porter versus Crawford. I'd like to see that. Or Kelbrook. Kelbrook was saying the other day he wants to come back. How come Kelbrook should give him a rematch? And allow that holding shit. Yeah, what's up, Tony? But Bennett. Why give Kelbrook give him a rematch? Give Sean Porter a rematch. That's what I think. But
Yeah. I'd be up for that. But since you're here, I don't need to go into story time. I'll just go straight into the boxing. Since you are here, okay. So where are we now? Okay, straight into the boxing. First topic. Let me just go through the topic list. Can you hear the music? Not really.
Yeah, man. Yeah, okay. I can hear it.
Okay, that's good. Don't need to be loud. It just needs to set the ambiance. Let me just see which topic I'm going to lead off with. There's some bangers.
Yeah.
There's some bangers. I want to go with the. Oh, I think I know what I'll start off with. I think I know What I'm gonna, yo, it's pure bangers up in here. These topics are pure bangers. I like to start off with the least and finish with the most, but boy, it's kind of hard to separate them. They're all bangers. They are all right. All right, okay. Let's go with this first banger then. Okay, so Nigel Benn has come out and said he was in an interview. Nigel Benn was in an interview and he was asked, "How's your chin?" And this was just the other day when he landed in England from Australia, and he was asked by one person. He went, "How's your chin?" Because physically, yeah, he seems good physically, and he seems fast on the bag, fast on the pads, fast on the this and fast on the that. And he's training with his son Connor, so he's got to keep up with the young little whippersnapper. But they asked him, "So, how's your chin?" And Nigel Benn responded, "Well, I don't know. We'll find out when I start sparring."
Oh, come back again. He hasn't started sparring yet. They haven't sparred yet.
No.
But you know what? Yeah, to be fair, Nigel type of guy, because he goes so hard. If he spars, he might break limbs. His body might break down. So I think he's not looking. Sparring is more a long term thing. But I think he's just thinking of getting. He feels in shape. He wants to go in there, whether win or lose. Yeah, I think he just wants to give it 100%. But Rhodes, really, if you're fighting, and it's not the week, I don't know what he's doing, but he's a bit younger than a bit younger than him. But he likes to be in the pocket. Sparring would help him. But having saying that, he's 50-something years old. If he starts
54 or 55.
Yeah, if he starts sparring, all the sparring partners will be younger. They might take liberties, man.
Yeah,
and then he might feel like I don't want to fight. You know what I mean? So I can see that. I can see that. I'm not surprised about that. Or he could get injured if he spars. So he's probably leaving that best alone. So I'm not surprised about that. But what's your take on that?
My take on that is that I'm very surprised. I am very surprised that in all this time, Nigel Benn is making. Well, there's two aspects to it. I'm going to give you the first and the second. But first things first. My first take on it is that I am very surprised that Nigel Benn has signed up for a fight without doing any sparring for a long, long time. That's my first feeling. My second is that I heard him in an interview today and said, well, to be fair, I never really did much sparring anyway. I was more of a pad man and a bag man, and then just get in there and do the job. So I was never a big sparrer.
That's a lie. Because when you look at it, he went to America, when he really started his craft, and he went in there with Freddie Pennington. Pennington, and he was knocking Nigel Benn in there, right? And got him helping get ready for Iron Barkley and Doug Lewis. They beat him around in the ring in the gym a couple of times, and he started to understand that, and he started to move his head. But hence that when he fought Eubank, he was more movement. When he fought Jerry McLean, his head was moving. He learned all that to duck all that stuff. So he still got that. Yeah. But maybe at this point he thinks there's nothing else to learn.
Or maybe as he progressed in his career, he started doing it less.
But maybe. I think Nigel, win or lose, one of them guys there, win or lose, he gives entertainment. People, Eddie say no one's gonna pay for it. I'm paying for it. We could do a poll in the chat. Who would pay for Nigel Benn fight? I'm telling you right now, I'll pay for it because Nigel always delivers. Whether he gets knocked out or the opponent, he goes for it. And like people say they don't want to see the fight. I said, yo, if he wants to, he's sleeping at Van Holyfield. Like, you know what I mean? It's Nigel Benn. Like, if he wants to fight and he's fighting Sucker B who's old as well, it's a good fight, man. You know what I mean? I see Sucker beat, but years ago, if that was the case, Nigel Benn would beat the shit out of him, man. Nigel is one of the hardest British punchers at even super middleweight. Like, super middleweight, his punching wasn't as hard as middleweight. Middleweight, he was bad. But super middleweight, it was okay. You know what I mean? But super middleweight was better. So
Yeah.
in my Nigel was always entertaining, but I feel like at this point, yeah, it's just like I think whether he wins or loses, he's just gonna give it a go. I can see him crying after the fight, though. Tell you that.
Well, I mean, to answer the question, I mean, I'm going to the fight most likely.
Are you gonna pay for it? Would you pay for it though?
Well, I'm gonna have to pay for the ticket, ain't I? I'm gonna have to pay for the ticket, ain't I?
Yeah. Is it? Oh, where is it? It's in Birmingham, Manchester.
Yeah, it's in
right?
Birmingham.
It's in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's in Birmingham. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd pay for it. If it was in London, I'd pay for it. I'd go and support Nigel. I like Nigel, man. I like Nigel. You know what I mean? So Eddie Hunt saying that no one's gonna pay for it, I was surprised. Right, you go into the fight, it might make the way. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that there's a danger involved. Obviously, there's a danger element, but I mean, if he's gonna do it, then and it's in my neck of the woods, then yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go. I don't think he should be doing it. I don't think he should be doing it at 55. But you know what? He's a grown-ass man, and he's old enough to make his own decisions.
Sorry, that's right, Raphie. That's right.
I just hope that he comes out of it safe. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think he can. I think he might come out clap. I might think he get clap up, Rev. I'll be honest with you. I think he might get punched up. But that's Nigel.
Well, I mean, when I say come out of it safe, I mean I hope he comes out of it with no permanent damage.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, listen, that's the same as Sakio beating, you could say, though, isn't it? Couldn't you?
Say again?
You could say that that's the same as Sakio Bika. He's old as well. He might get seriously damaged as well.
Yeah, but I think he's only in his 40s, though, so I think Nigel's like 55, so I think the greater risk possibly will be on Nigel's side.
Yeah, have you seen Sakio Bika's wife, yeah? If you see Sakio Bika's wife, he ain't there's not much up there in the thing. she's a bit on the thingy side. I saw her in the contender. But anyway, aside from that, he might get punched up. Maybe they picked him and Sakio Bika might fall over because Nigel's in shape. I don't know what Sakio Bika is doing. He might be chosen just to get rolled over.
Yeah, but Sakio Bika, like his last fight was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Was it? Who's he fought?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he fought, but his last fight was 2 years ago.
Oh, he's in shape, man. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. So it could be tricky, but we don't know. We will have to wait and see exactly what is going on with that. So that's our first topic that I need to strike off the list. Hold on, let me get that off the list. That's done. Where is this thing here? So what you're gonna pay for it then? Yeah,
I would pay for Nigel, Ben. It's not that much. I pay for you guys, James the girl. A lot of times, I look at it sometimes. Yeah, I think, am I gonna get my money's worth? Right?
Yeah.
And on Sky, I'm throwing my money into a well sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I pay for AJ Ruiz because AJ gave I told everyone at the time, I said, look, AJ's handed the belts over to him, right? And I know why AJ's doing that is because he's been getting flinching in it and people hold his belts and his mind, he's not in the right time of mind because we're supposed to fight the baby, and maybe he's relaxed, right? When I saw him pass the belt over, I said straight away I'm buying the pay-per-view. I bought it there and then I said, listen, he's not ready. His head's not all there, man. And also the Katie Taylor fight, I want to see that. I got my money's worth, but not all the time for matching, not all the time. They put a lot of pay-per-views out. Even Box Nation put pay-per-views out. Fury's had 2 pay-per-views on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and I ain't paying for none of them, bro. I'll tell you that for free. But I won't pay for them. I won't pay for Fury until he fights a better opponent. But yeah, Nigel gives money to work. Oh yeah, I'll pay for it, man. It should be all right.
Yes. So I think I'm going to the show. If the people want me to see the thing, then for sure I will go. Folks, if you want me to go and report on the show, get some video footage at the show, hopefully catch up with some old legends at the show, get some quick interviews at the show, you know where to go. It's in the description box. The PayPal link is in the description box. Let me just put it. Let me just highlight that baby there. Let me highlight that baby there and paste it in the chat. Okay. So there we have it. There we have it. And that was the first topic. That was the first topic. Okay. So who's joined us? We got Luke J. We got Luke J. Who else has joined us? John D. Lee.
Where's John D. Lee? Is he here?
John D. Lee's in the chat. And who else? Who else we got? We got Joe 56984. And well, the invitation link is, let me just copy that and paste that. The invitation link is in the chat. So you want to jump on? The invitation link should be there. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, so swiftly moving on. Swiftly moving on to the next topic. Let me select it. Okay. So, Fury and Wilder, Deontay Wilder, signed a 3-fight contract. So it was a 3-fight deal. So when they signed up originally, it wasn't for 1 fight. It wasn't for 2 fights, but for 3 fights. As confirmed by Bob Arum in an interview just the other day, a couple days ago. So the interesting thing to me is that it appears that regardless of who wins the second fight, they've got a 3rd fight lined up. What say you, EJ Boxing?
Wait. Say again, Fury and who?
Fury and Deontay Wilder. Wow. When they signed for the first fight,
yeah,
they didn't just sign for 1 fight. They didn't just sign for 2 fights, but they signed up for a trilogy.
Yes.
So that's a 3-fight thing. And what I don't understand, what I don't comprehend, is it appears that whoever wins the second fight, it doesn't matter because they're still going to have a 3rd fight. Where is the sense and the logic in that? I'm struggling with it.
Well, the thing is, yeah, they might as well. Somewhat. I think the conclusion. They might as well wrap themselves up. AJ's wrapped up with Ortiz. Ortiz might get a 3rd fight with Joshua if he wins. If Ortiz wins again,
there's no rematch for that.
Yeah.
I mean, no, sorry. There's no trilogy for that. There's no fight after the second fight. You know what I'm saying? Because after this fight, if Ruiz wins, he goes his own way. He says thank you, and he jogs away. He goes his own way. If Joshua wins, that's my hypothesis. If Joshua wins, then he goes his own way. You know, he don't want it. He's not going to want it again with Ruiz for a long time.
I don't mind. I don't mind them wrapping up with each other because the thing is, yeah, Fury's been fighting bombs, and you know what? You get a fight. I mean, they have. Let's get the second fight going, and then let's see what's happening. But I don't mind that. I don't mind them wrapping themselves up into them fights because, you know, you the linear champion, the WBC champion, whatever you want to say. You know, they fight each other and then they get that over and done with. Like, look, Bo and Holyfield, they fought each other like 3 times and then it was over and then they moved on. So, just to get some fights, just to get some closure in the episode, you know. Fury felt like he won, Wilder felt like won. If they have a second fight, maybe it's a definitive. For either way, it's definitive. But if you have another one just there waiting, they're like, yo, cool. Yeah, let's make some money because, look, I'll be honest with you, this time, yeah, the second fight should happen quicker. They would have made a lot of money. They would have cashed in a lot of money, right? Yeah. They missed that thing. So if you know there's a next one later, they have an epic, people are going to be on it. So I think that's good. a good business plan. But if one of them gets definitively knocked out, people still want to see the third one. Seriously.
People still would want to see the third one if one of them gets knocked out. That's your hypothesis.
Yeah. Because
Mm.
the other guy will make excuses and say this, that, the other, third. Oh yeah, this, that, the other. I wasn't ready. And then it's like out in the rematch, other, and they'll make a lot of money. They Fury and Wilder, they 100%. What they do, they do sell the fight. They go on the media thing and they push it to this day. You know what I'm saying? That's still out to this day. Google that shit. You know what I'm saying? Wilder put enough like quotes out there. You know when he's ready, where he, like that one was viral. So Wilder in his mode, Fury gets ready, Fury will be on it, Wilder will be on it. This is the question. Fury, I'm more worried about Fury now. Is Fury gonna add Ricky Hatton, who we saw having a coke binge or whatever, drink binge, whatever, in his corner, and Shaky and Freddie Roach, Shaky Freddie? Is he gonna put them back in his corner? Because they're very experienced. Or is Fury gonna bring back Peter Fury in the corner? These are the questions. And more.
What do you mean? What do you mean? And get rid of Ben Sond and get rid of Ben?
Nah. Just have him there as an overlook, just to help out.
So keep Ben, but bring some help.
Yeah, just squash the beef and just say, listen, it's a big fight. Whatever's happened, just be cool. Come over. I need your advice. Because Fury, if you look at Peter was the one who went down to the ring and realized Klitschko was out there cheating, right? And Max on the ring and all that. That was Peter, Peter looked at all them things there. Peter is still family. They're all family. They're not arguing, right? Not talking. But you need a second pair of eyes, man. Not like Wilder's going to do anything for you, but it will help. It'll calm him down. But I don't know if the dad gets along with the brother. I don't know how that works. See, the dad come out.
Peter Fury has come out and said apparently on the Fox, on the American broadcast of the Huey Fury versus Povetkin fight. What's his name? Peter Fury came out and said no, that he's not speaking with Tyson at the moment. They're not on speaking terms.
Oh, because the dad, ever since the dad come out, this is what's been happening, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they haven't been speaking for some time. So clearly, I don't think it's going to be Peter. But the question is, will they bring Ricky back in? Will they bring my man from over there, Wildcard Jim Roach? Will they bring Roach back in to oversee? But what was the question? I'm pretty sure that was not the question. What was the question?
The question was about the third fight.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's in the ballpark. That's fine. Third fight. How do you feel? Oh, you've already said you feel cool with the third fight.
Yeah. And then I added for Fury what he needs to bring in.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. So I'll give you my take on it. Right. So the third fight now. The third fight. If the second fight is won by actually, damn. There's another element which I'd overlooked. Who's this? Oh, he's talking to me? Hold on a second. Let me just check if this message is for me. Is this message for me? No, I don't think so. Okay, so something which I had overlooked. Is the first fight was a draw. So whoever wins the second fight. But that's still good enough. The first fight's a draw, and then you have two fights. The second person, the person who wins the second fight, well, they're the winner. Because the first fight was a 0.5, that's a half. So each person gets a 0.5, and then the second fight is a full 1. So whoever wins the second fight, they end up with a score of 1.5. That's good enough. That's good enough to move on. But here's my thing. It seems to me that the fact that they signed for 3 fights, it seems like they're just comfortable. Just keep having a little game of tag with themselves in a little small confined little play area. So they're in the play area having a little game of tag, whilst the rest of the division are fighting. That's my hypothesis on it. They're having a game attack. They're tying themselves up, deliberately tying themselves up with their little game attack, whilst the rest of the division is fighting and trying to move on.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Let's go another fathom deeper. So Deontay Wilder's talking about he wants to fight the winner. No, let's get this straight. Let's get this in synchronological order. Okay. So Deontay Wilder's talking about that leads nicely into the next topic. Same people involved. So Deontay Wilder is talking about he wants to fight the winner of Joshua Ruiz. Now, from history tells us he really doesn't want it with Joshua for whatever reasons. We can chop that up later. He doesn't want it with Joshua. History tells us that. So what he's really saying is that if Andy Ruiz wins, he wants to fight him next. And he wants Tyson Fury to step aside. Now, the question is, we've moved on a little bit, just a little bit. The question is, do you think, because Tyson Fury has previously come out and said he won't accept step aside money, he ain't stepping aside for nothing, he ain't stepping nowhere, he ain't stepping aside nowhere. But since then, he's received the cut, which has received stitches inside and out. That's kind of plastic surgery. Okay, so now my question to you and the chat is, do you think that Tyson Fury will accept step aside money, seen as how it looks like that fight could very well be delayed? The February fight could be delayed. EJ Boxing, what say you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Tyson Fury. You talking about Tyson Fury step aside money to fight AJ? Is that what you're talking about? So why they could fight AJ?
The question is, will Tyson Fury accept step aside money if he won't be ready for February 22? Do you think he will, or do you think he don't?
Step aside money.
He don't.
Yeah. Step aside money means to fight. Who's Wilder gonna face?
Wilder, he's saying he'll fight Joshua. He wants to fight Joshua or the Ponce next. And he'll pay step aside money. So the question is, we don't really know. It's just the Ponce. He ain't fighting Joshua. It's just the Ponce. So if the Ponce wins, do you think Tyson Fury's injury is going to prevent him from going in February? It's going to delay him a few months. Do you think that Tyson Fury will accept step aside Mo Nai?
100%. You don't want to fight Wilder anyway.
I'm getting that feeling.
Yeah, he's taking it because he's taking it. That's everything he's been doing, clowning around, making money. It's all about money and this entertaining fighting. No one's 100%. He would take the step aside money, and his excuse would be, I'm cut anyway, so I can't fight. He needs to heal, this, that, the other, and the third. They'll take the money, get the ring rust, and let everyone do the heavy lifting, and then Tyson Fury, hey, Tyson Fury, come over and say, look, I'm the real linear champion, and then come in and do the thing. 100%. That's what I say. 100%. He will take the money.
Okay, so I'm going to the chat. What say you? Does Tyson Fury accept step aside money? Because I don't think he has to. I think the contract is kind of open-ended. There's no date on the contract for the rematch. That's the impression I get, because Wilder came out previously and said, yeah, I would fight the winner of Joshua Ruiz, but Fury won't step aside. Fury won't step aside. But that was before the cut. So the question to the chat is, do you think that Tyson Fury will accept step aside Mo Nai? While you're writing in your responses, I'll give you my response. I don't think the Tyson Fury is going to be ready for February 22nd. I think the fight could easily be delayed for another couple of months. So we're looking February, March, April. So we're looking at the end of May, April, the soonest. The time frame I give it is the end of April to the end of May, April, May. That time period. I'll give it that time period. So 2 months later than anticipated. My view, will Tyson Fury step aside? I think not. I don't think Tyson Fury is going to step aside. I don't think Tyson Fury is looking forward to the rematch as much as Wilder is. Wilder loves a rematch. I think that Wilder gets tuned in and honed in, and he knocks everybody out who he rematches. Okay, you could say that doesn't say much because his level of opponent is not the highest, and that's a fair comment also. But regardless, he's mentally ingrained in him that I knock out everybody I rematch. I think that's mentally ingrained in his psyche. Fully ingrained in his psyche. So, yeah. I don't think he accepts that. I don't think he takes the step aside money. Also, I think he'd be concerned about how people would feel. Was he chickening out? So from a cosmetic sense, from a public relations sense, I think he would be reluctant to accept step aside money. So I don't think he does it. So EJ thinks he does. I think he don't. Let's go into the chat and see what they're saying. See what they're saying. See if they've even responded. Where are we? As if Wilder would honor the fight with Fury if he got undisputed. You see, and that's the big thing. If Fury got the fight with Ruiz and got undisputed, then that would set up probably a trilogy of rematches with Ruiz. So then where would Fury's rematch come then? Where would it be then? Would Wilder honor his obligation? I don't even think he could honor his obligation to rematch with Fury, because now he would have a greater obligation to honor the rematch with Ruiz. You see what I'm saying? EJ? Okay, AJ,
100%. Yeah.
What's your response?
You're saying that he would he honor the rematch? We're still talking about the honor the rematch.
Well, what we're saying is that if Fury got the fight with the Ponce and beat the Ponce, then what are the chances that he would honor the rematch with Fury? Because now his requirement, his obligation to rematch the Ponce would be greater than his obligation to rematch Fury.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. Hey, we got Brooklyn Child in the chat, man. Brooklyn Child.
Where's Brooklyn Child? Brooklyn Child in the house.
He's got the bums out.
Brooklyn Child ready to drop some grenades up in the chat, up in the building. So let me get the link out to Brooklyn Child in case he wants to jump on. Let me get the link out to Brooklyn Child in case he jumps on. But in the meantime, EJ, in between time, yes, so you understand you understand that that would be a dangerous move for Fury. if he wanted to fight, if he had any intention of fighting Wilder again, because if Wilder beats the Ponce, then his obligation to rematch the Ponce is greater. His obligation to rematch the ex-unified champion is greater than his obligation to rematch the so-called lineal Fury.
100%. Now I agree with you. Yeah, it's all about money moves, and a contract is a contract. But end of the day, if the guy's got injured or anything like that, they have to change the contract. Maybe you have to rip it up and do a new contract. So Wilder wants to be undisputed, and that's his goal. And anyway, like Fury will be saying, I'm still the linear. You need to get through me, even though most people don't believe that. So he still makes money. Fury's still talking. He's still talking that linear thing, bro. He's still on that. Brooklyn Charles gonna jump in. Remember last time with me, you and Brooklyn Charles, that was entertaining, bro.
That was entertaining for real. For real. No bargain, no deal. That was entertaining. So that's the problem. That's why I think, has anybody even responded? Have people responded to the damn question? Let me see. No matter if they haven't. Let me see if anybody's responded to this question. Oh, I mean, obviously MB responded. That's his response. They're talking about John Delia hanging upside down. I want to see if anybody's actually, other than MB's, responded to the damn question. Okay, Toby Bartlett also responded. Right. So ESPN paid big money for the ESPN paid money for the rematch? ESPN paid money for the rematch. I guess so it's a new okay. Yeah, because he's with ESPN now. So they may have paid a portion of it. Where's the rematch going to be shown? Is it been decided yet? Is it going to be a co-promotion with ESPN and Hold on. What's happened recently? Oh, Fox. Yeah, I would imagine it's going to be a co-promotion with ESPN and Fox. I would imagine so. So ESPN paid big money for the rematch, so it goes ahead. Yeah, that's what you're saying, Toby Bartlett. Yeah. Toby Bartlett says it goes ahead. Yeah, well, that's what I feel. I don't believe Tyson Fury is going to step aside. Let me see. The more in question is whether Al Hearn will allow AJ to fight Wilder. I think he'll want AJ to fight some Al Hearn. What? Oh, Eddie Hearn. Yeah. Whether Eddie Hearn will allow AJ to fight Wilder. Eddie Hearn. I think Eddie Hearn would be more likely to allow AJ to fight Wilder than Al Heyman would be to allow Wilder to fight Anthony Joshua. Yeah, so I think that's the sequence. I think Eddie Hearn would be quicker to let Joshua fight Wilder than Al Heyman would be to allow Wilder to fight Joshua. I think the hold up is on the PBC side. The hold up is on the PBC side. He will, because he doesn't fight Wilder again. Don't get it. I think it comes down to what Bob Arum has promised the ESPN executives. What has Bob Arum promised ESPN? Well, what would Bob Arum have to promise ESPN to have them go through with the fight? That would be the question. Okay, Brooklyn Child. That's no problemo. No problem. Yeah, you're listening. Brooklyn Child is working, so he can't jump in, but he is listening. Okay, so he's supporting the show by listening. Much appreciation. And if you can do without the cup of coffee or a pint of a beer, smash that donate button. Smash that donate button, especially if you've never smashed it before. Okay. Right. Where are we? Okay. D Bro in Red Glove Militant in the building. Who else has just come in? Who else has just come in? D Bro in the building. And of course, A Obs. Wilder is an idiot. If Fury was the champ, he would never have signed a 3-fight. He would never have signed a 3-fight deal. Well, I think you say Wilder's an idiot, Obs, but I think Wilder, he loves these rematches. He loves a rematch. He feels more comfortable. So I think Wilder has done it to protect himself, to insulate himself from the rest of the division. You see what I'm saying? Wilder has done that to insulate himself. It's a self-protection mechanism because he don't feel that Fury can beat him. And to be fair, I think the Wilder knocks Fury out the next time around. I thought the first time around, I thought Fury could pull it off. First time around, I thought Fury could pull it off. But second time around, I think Fury gets sparked. EJ Boxing. Who wins the next fight between Fury and Wilder?
Wilder. Well, at this point, you have to say the bomb squad, Deontay Wilder. He looks much better against much higher level opponents. Even with Fury himself, he had him on the ground, and he's gone on, knocked out Dominic Brazil quicker than AJ. He's fighting with Ortiz. He's fighting the high level of like the top 5. Maybe Brazil wasn't top 5, but he was very durable. In the top 10.
He was top 10.
Top 10. But he gave AJ a tough win. Where AJ, terrorized him and knocked him out. And Fury has not been doing that. And you're already as good as the guys you've been professionally fighting against. I understand you do pro fighting. But to me, Fury looks like he's cutting corners, be very tight, very stingy. And he's all about marketing and having fun. And Wilder's in there looking like Mr. T. You have one guy looking like Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3. But Mickey goes, man, get in the gym, man. Let's get out these girls. Let's go back some spit and sawdust. And you have the other guy looking like Mr. T. I'm ranked number 1. That means I'm the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm knocking at all bounds. So, Wilder right now.
Wilder right now. We are joined by John Daly. John Daly, good of you to join us. How are you today?
Good, thanks, Raphie. You all right?
I'm very good, my friend. I'm very good. Very good. I like the pace of the show. We're steaming through it, mate. We're steaming through. So who have you got winning the next fight between Wilder and what's his name? Fury. Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it yet because I'm not looking past Ortiz, although
you should look past Ortiz. I'll be back in a second.
Chain doesn't look too healthy, does it?
I'll be back in a second. Carry on talking. Just gonna get a drink.
You're right, EJ.
Sure. How you doing, man? Right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. You bring up a good point about Fury's uncle. No, is it Fury's uncle? Yeah, he can't go to the States. Oh yeah, I remember that now.
I don't think his dad or his uncle can go. But also, I think the fallout happened when Tyson tested positive for nandrolone.
Yeah.
Because Huey also popped for the same thing, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, 100%.
I think that's when they stopped talking.
Yeah. That round. When the dad came out, I think things started going downhill. The dad came out just with a rage about my people being undermined and this and that.
His dad's just full of rage anyway.
Yeah. I remember when he went at Kevin Hart, the reporter, and Kevin was actually trying to sympathize with him. He just terrorized him.
But if you can gouge a man's eye out with your finger twice.
Is that what he did?
That's what he got locked up for.
Yeah,
don't mess with Big John Fury. He's not a gentleman, EJ.
Yeah. I know he fought Henry after one day, sometime ago.
Is he?
So he's a tough guy, man. He's a tough guy.
I know he's a hard man. I'm not sure he's a very good boxer. I remember when Tyson was a teenager and they had him on TV. They were profiling him. He must have been doing something at amateur, and Tyson's dad was on there talking about he'd named him after. When Tyson was he must have been about 15, 16, and they were predicting he'd be heavyweight champion of the world there. John Fury was going off on one there on TV. I think it was on ITV.
Yeah, well, he was right, though, wasn't he? Right.
No, he's right. I mean, Tyson's decent, but I'm not his biggest fan.
Nah, no mind. But you know what? He's just he's a cagey guy. Him being soldiers wonders, they're cagey guys. You know, they don't fight regularly. They do what they want. When you think you got them cornered, they're out the corner. You know what I mean? They're just dodgy with it. You know? they're dodgy with it.
I just don't want to watch 12 rounds if I'm watching heavyweights.
That's
not what I watch heavyweight boxing for.
Yeah, but the Wilder fight, that must have been the most watched fight at the time. You know, I mean, I watched that a lot of times, because he was going for it. The Klitschko fight and the Fury fight, not so much. But the Wilder was going for it, so it made it interesting.
Wilder made it more entertaining.
Yes.
And the fact that Tyson had been really effectively out of the ring for so long created some intrigue. But all that jiggle on Tyson when he's doing feints, it just doesn't look like a professional athlete to me.
Indeed. He does not look. It don't look right. It don't look right. It looks. Yo. Somebody's in the mic with the keys. It don't look right at all. The jiggling move. The jiggling move.
Yeah.
No, not at all. So what is the next question? Where does that leave us? Okay, so my answer is that I don't think that Fury is going to step aside, and I'm not even sure that contractually with ESPN that he can step aside, even for money. You, EJ Boxing, you say, what do you say? Your final word on that topic.
Yeah, our final word is contracts are made to be broken, and end of the day, they had a date, you set it back, a new contract might be put, or maybe they don't have to. There's no, to me, he's not a mandatory, it's a voluntary. So I think you can get out of that contract. He's not a mandatory or anything, it's a voluntary. A voluntary is just a contract you put together, both you agree on. But end of the day, if there's a good reason to get out of that contract, I think you can get out of it. It's like, it's not like Dillian White and Wilder, where he was made number one by the sanctioning body and all that. That's not happened in this case. They gave him a belt to get on the rankings. The WBC gave him a belt to get on the rankings, but he's not number one. He's not number one of Wilder, and also Rivas either. So
you think, long story short, you think Tyson would take step aside money?
100% he would take step aside money. I think that's all he cares about is money, having fun, and staying with his kids. To me,
so what about the fact that if he steps aside and Wilder step aside to allow Wilder to fight the punts? Yeah. So then Wilder then gets tied up with rematching the punts for 3 fights.
Fury's out in the cold. He's got to go look for someone else. So
okay, Fury's out in the cold. So you acknowledge that.
Yeah, he's out in the cold. He has to go for someone else.
John Dealey does.
You have to strike while the iron's hot, Raph. That's my last word.
Okay. So striking while the iron hot means that Fury would step aside, but you don't think he should. Am I right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying even if he's injured with one eye, he needs to take the fight because he's been doing bullshit. Apparently, the pay-per-view didn't do that well. And end of the day, you chose that opponent. You thought he was going to walk over, he busted your eye. Now you need to man up and honor the man and give Wilder the thing. If you don't, then just forget about it and go do something else. So that's my thing.
Okie dokie. John Daly, does Fury step aside in your mind? Does he step aside?
What I think is it comes down to Bob Arum and what Bob Arum wants and what's in the contract. So if they can pick and choose when they have the rematch,
yeah, which I think they can. If
they can, do they think it's to their advantage to fight Wilder or whoever beats him for undisputed, or do they need to sell some some subscriptions and get a big fight in now?
Yeah,
I don't think it's got anything to do with Tyson, to be honest.
Okay, you think the decision is above Tyson?
Yeah, I think if it's up to Tyson, he'd rather have more time to let his eye heal up before fighting Wilder.
Well, I think that Tyson, it's in the contract that I don't think it's set in the contract that I don't think it's set. The date is set in the contract, so I think they have wiggle room. I think Tyson has at least 2 months wiggle room with that.
Also, I think if Al Heyman is doing the undisputed fight and it's an in-house PBC fight, I don't think they're really invested in Ortiz, so I'm not sure he'd get a rematch clause. Because it'd be an in-house.
Ortiz hasn't got. You mean Ruiz?
Sorry, Ruiz.
Yeah.
So if Ruiz beats AJ,
and
it's an in-house PBC fight,
the
PBC have invested everything into Wilder, not Ruiz.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they'd give him a rematch clause.
Right. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. The same way like how Porter didn't have a rematch clause.
Yeah. I'm not sure they need to worry about it in the PBC because they're quite happy doing in-house fights.
It's in-house anyway, so
if there's the rematch, it's one they can put on the back burner for later.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be immediate from their point of view.
So your last word, does Tyson Fury step aside? I
think the question is, does Bob set aside? And I'm not sure. I think if it's just up to Tyson, then yes, because he's been cut.
Okay, so in summary to that question, I say Tyson Fury. What did I say? I think I said Tyson Fury does not step aside because he's got 2 month wiggle room with the contract, is my belief. EJ Boxing says yes, he does step aside and takes the money. I almost called you a different name by the wrong name there. John D.
I think I know what the name was, Raphie. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I profusely apologize. John Dealey says he reckons it's out of Tyson Fury's hands. Okay, so we got 3 panelists and 3 different answers. I like it. You got a range of opinions there. Can't complain about that. Got a whole range of opinions. Okay. Give me a second to go through this, look through this chat a little bit so I can catch up. What does this one say? Okay. Wilder knows Fury's got no power. Can't disagree with that. Wilder lost to Fury. Around the panel, real quick. 5 seconds each man. EJ Boxing. Did Wilder lose to Fury in the first fight? Yay or nay?
Yay or nay?
Yay or nay, my friend. We're on a time crunch.
Nay.
Okay, John Dealey. Did Wilder lose to Fury?
I believe the draw is actually a correct result.
That's a what is that? That's a nay. Wilder did not. Yeah, that's a nay.
Wilder didn't lose. Yeah.
Wilder did not lose because nobody won. And my answer is nay. Wilder did not lose to Fury, and Fury did not lose to a Wilder, because I think it was a draw. I think a draw was a fair decision. That's just a quick thing. Red gloved Millet. Yep. John Dealey, what up? Toby Bartlett, sup? They cannot back out of it. Interesting view. That's another view. Let's go. This rematch lost all its buzz because no one cares. Some real good comments in the comment section. Oh, sorry. Red Ross Clark. How do you do? I forgot you just come into the chat. How do you do? What else? Jello, what else we got? Yeah. Where are we? Fury won't be boxing for much longer. Okay, let's go around the panel. Another quick one, another 5-second response. John Daly, how many more years does Fury box on for? It's purely hypothetical. We have no data to go on, just purely a hypothetical. What's your instinctive response? Instinctive response time.
A couple of years.
2 years, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
EJ Boxing, purely instinctive response. We have no data. We have no paperwork. This is purely by instinct. Tyson Fury boxes on for how many years?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, my response is 5 years. Purely instinctive. We have no data. How much money would Wilder offer Fury to step aside? Well, you could say I've led you guys on a merry dance because I've just read an article where Fury says that Wilder is going to have to pay him some big money to step aside, and Wilder responds, I won't pay him a penny, but I will give him a slap. So that's the answer to that one. Smash that like button. We're almost caught up with the chat. It's Wilder's own fault, really. He chose to book himself up. Yeah, he chose to tie himself up. Tie himself up for the next year after he ducked the DAZN money. Now Ruiz won. He says he wants the fight. Yeah, well, I agree. Tied himself up. Jiggle room, if you will. Wilder lost. Are you guys mad? No, I'm not mad. I might be mad. I don't know. Are you mad? Wilder lost, but he got a draw. Everyone stop crying. Who's crying? Rocky, if you go back and look at the punches landed, it's an even fight. It's a very even fight. Fury sold that he was winning by showboating. Watch, yeah, all the showboating and jinking. Fury people think the Fury landed much more than he actually did. Yeah, we know the criteria, Rocky Reggie. We know the criteria. Okay, so where are we? That's another topic dealt with that gets stricken off the topic sheet. Where is that topic? Gotta strike it off. Does Fury step aside? And that's kind of even split because EJ says yay. I say nay. And John Fury says it's not in his hands. Yeah, decision will be made from up above. So yet again, we have a wide selection of opinions from the panel. So that's good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Good stuff indeed. Okay, so we're moving on to the next question. It's going at a nice pace tonight. Okay, that one gets struck off. We've already done that one too. That's good. Kill that one. Okay, let's get into. Will Fury step aside to allow? Oh, I've already done that. I think I had that question down 2 times. Okay, I had that question down 2 times. Okay, so let's go over to, let me see how this ties in. We've got a couple of times here. Okay, so Spence versus Porter. Discuss that. Analyze that. Okay, so I'll go first with this one. So, Spence versus Porter. My pick for the fight was that Spence would win, but I disagreed with the common perception that Spence would win via KO or TKO. I said Spence would win via points decision. That was my pick. But a lot of people were going with the Spence is going to KO or TKO. What's his name? Porter.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with that. I thought it was going to be a much tighter fight than many, but it turned out to be even tighter than I anticipated. Porter gave Spence a hell of a working. And if I had to pick a winner, I would go with Porter. But I did score the fight, and my scores are as follows. Spence. Oh, I'll tell you this. When I score a fight, I don't do any tutting up. You see me score fights on here before. I don't do any tutting up until the end of the final round, the 12th round. Obviously, if it doesn't get to the 12, you don't need to tut up because one person has clearly won, generally speaking. But I don't do any tutting up until the end of the final round. And so I did my tutting up, and the scores were as follows. Spence, 114. That's 114. And Porter, 114. That's 114. A draw. And people say that's impossible. How could it be a draw? I'll tell you how it was a draw. Because I marked the first round. A first round, which I've later found out 2 of the judges scored for Porter. I marked the first round as a draw. And of course, in the 11th round, I marked that as a 10-8 for Spence because of the knockdown. That came up to a grand total, ladies and gentlemen, of 114 apiece. Both fighters. I had it down dead even as a draw. But if you had to ask me, if you said to me, no, Raphie, it can't be a draw, you got to pick one or the other. In the case of a draw, if there was a new rule which said in the case of a draw, you had to pick one or the other, then I would go with Porter. Why would I go with Porter? I think at the side note, I do side notes to each round. And I think overall, Spence was, for the more rounds than Porter, Spence was the ring general. Spence was the most active. Yeah, ring generalship and the most active. Yes, on those 2 criteria. If I had to pick one person as a winner, I would go with Spence. EJ Boxing, what say you?
Yeah, well, coming into the fight, I took a bit of slack. I said Sean Porter on points. I felt like he had a better resume, and I just felt like he fought the top of competition. Some people say he didn't look good against certain opponents, but I said that they're higher opponents than Spencer's faced, and it showed, it showed people first off. I already know, Porter ain't stopping. No one's stopping Sean Porter. Yes, he got knocked down. It didn't look like after he got knocked down, it even bothered him. I had him, I watched the clip. I'm still looking for a full copy. I've still got kind of highlights of it, and he was just pushing it out Spence back. Even a guy went on the back foot. Spence did the beast he normally does, and Sean Porter looked to me. He's looked like his stock's gone up, and a lot of people I talked to, on reaction on the day because I fell asleep, woke up normally. I woke up next day and watched the highlights or watched it again or watched certain things. And for me, what people were saying is that they had Porter winning. They said that they always say it was a robbery, but then they said he won. They said he won the fight, and the mystique from Errol Spence is no longer there. And Porter finally get his respect, which he's been credited for. People they took ill of him, man. Underdog, he's ugly and all that, but people could respect what he was doing, man. He came to work and he put man under a lot of pressure. Spence did well to drop him, but the Garcia fight was already signed, and that is terrible. That's a terrible thing. Itself. Sean Porter, because of his style, is being penalized, but his style is good. You know, his style is good. Like Sean Porter gives you money for value. He gives you money for value, and he deserves a rematch. He deserves the big fights, man. He
shouldn't have lost. He shouldn't have lost his strap on that performance.
Nah. He should have lost. He should have been a draw if anything. The guy he draw or he wins the belts. But you know, and then maybe they have a rematch again. But the real talk, he lost the belts, man. And you know, people, and you know what? Being a victim or in this circumstances is good for him, man. You know, people. I'm telling you, people growing up who didn't like him, now they're giving him all credit. You know what I'm saying? We like the way you fight. And because remember when he knocked out Devin Alexander, people liked him, right? And then he lost to Kell Brook, he kind of put back in the shuffle. You know that good. Yeah, but he's crawled his soul back to the top, and arguably he needs to be number top. You know, it's funny. Thurman should have fought him. Thurman should have fought Spence, bro. I was looking at Thurman, was like, yo, I could have beat him. Thurman should have fought Spence. You
well, something was wrong with Thurman's liver, though, wasn't it?
So he said, man. So he said, he looked on that issue. I could, if that's what Porter did to me. Look at their fight, how they opened up. Like Thurman hit hard, man. Spence would have been walked into some of them shots, man. Pacquiao be looking on Spence, say, yo, I can take him. So Spence is wide open, bro. Someone's looking to take that over from Spence. It's just a matter of days, man. Is he the truth? Not in that performance. But great, he won the fight. Hopefully see a rematch. Porter stock's gone up. And it was great for the fight, man. That's all I can say. That was a great fight. Goes down in the books of this year. One of the best fights this year, hands down.
100%. That fight was lit, as our American cousins say. John D. Lee.
I had Spence winning on points beforehand because I don't really see anyone knocking Sean Porter out at welterweight. To be frank, he's one thing is you're not going to stop him marching forward. I don't think anyone's really got the power to put a dent in him. Spence didn't really hurt him. It looked more like he caught him while he was thrown and got him off balance and pushed him down a bit as well.
No, he caught him with a clean shot. He caught him with a clean shot.
He caught him with a clean shot, and I think he made Porter miss and caught Porter off balance a bit. And that was a good shot, but I think he helped him go down with the other hand.
I didn't see that. I think it was a clean shot and he dropped. It was a flash knockdown.
Either way,
there may have been a helping. There may have been a hand of God involved. I missed that.
Either way, he wasn't seriously hurt. Was he? He knew where he was. And he came back at Spence afterwards. So
100%. I mean, it was a flash knockdown.
I don't know why anyone thought anyone was going to knock Porter out. I thought Spence would win fairly or unfairly on the cards. I think Porter always makes everybody work for their money, and he gives everybody a horrible night. I don't necessarily think it means Spence is no good. I think it means that every time Porter fights, whoever he fights, he's going to give a difficult fight to. I think he'd do the same thing to Crawford. I think he'd also do the same thing to Manny Pacquiao. And he's already done it to Furman.
Who would do that?
Porter.
Yeah.
He'd make them all look bad. He's done it to Furman already.
Yeah.
I think he'd do it to the rest of them. So just because Spencer's had the same struggle against Porter doesn't mean say Spence has suddenly been found out.
I agree with that.
But I don't think Spence is this all-conquering beast either.
No.
But for me, the welterweight division is as open as it was before the fight.
Yeah. For me, Spence looked kind of slightly because of Porter's movement. Thank you, Justin Trouble. Thank you very much. I hope you've subscribed to the channel. Hope you smash the like button. It's good to have you here. I think the Spence, because of Porter's movement, his fast movement, his jinky movement, he made Spence look slightly, ever so slightly wooden. Ever so slightly wooden in comparison. That doesn't mean Spence is wooden. He's not wooden. But in comparison to Porter's, quick feet, it did make him look a little bit wooden, but that's not going to be the case with the next fight.
No, that isn't going to be. The thing that I find more concerning, though, is just Spence is now admitting that he does a Ricky Fatten in between fights.
Is he? He admitted that?
Yeah, he said he's going to try not to blow up 25 pounds over the weight in between fights. Well, that's, if you can't live the life, then you're just going to go downhill. We've seen it happen to so many people.
We've seen it happen before.
It's happened. I mean, where do you start? When you blow up in between fights and you're just trying to lose weight to get in the ring, it has a detrimental effect on your performance in the ring.
100%. But I think it's a fact of life that some fighters, they're just bigger.
I don't agree with you, Raphie.
The weight bully. Carry on.
No, I mean, if he's talking, I know everyone calls him the weight bully.
Yeah,
but I think it's more than that. I think he's getting if you look at him in between fights, he's getting a food baby.
Okay.
I think he's doing a bit more like Roberto Duran and Ricky Hatton and lots of people in the past have done.
Yeah.
They're not active. They don't go to the gym. They eat what they want in between fights.
Yeah.
They balloon up, and then camp is a fat camp.
Yeah, but I think that some people just get bigger. Some people are big for the weight category.
I'd say that's a separate issue though, because then you're making weight nicely.
Mm-hmm. But he seems to make weight nicely though. He seems to glide in. He's never missed weight.
But it's the toll that losing the weight takes on you. If you've had to cut and strip, you're weak when you get in the ring.
It depends on if it's a tough weight cut.
But if you've blown up by 25 pounds,
yeah,
that's just not an easy weight cut.
Okay, but then flip that. He looked comfortable in there. He looked comfortable in the ring. He didn't look drained.
He didn't look drained, no, but I'm saying how long can he keep it up for?
Okay, that's a fair question. How long can he keep it up?
I mean, he's still a young man.
Yeah.
We can do these things when we're young. Mm-hmm. If he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
And Sean Porter's the best fighter he's ever come in against. And he looked far from dominant.
Yeah, he didn't look dominant at all.
No.
EJ Boxing. Where's EJ?
Yes.
EJ, you eating your dinner?
No, I wasn't eating my dinner. I'm finished. I'm waiting for some dessert now, man. Always on dessert, man. The steak is 10, man. And my doorbell will be ringing any minute right now. I'm watching Jose Lopez versus John Molina Jr. at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Multitasking. So the final question is, what is the question? I don't know. What is the question? We're talking about Porter Spence. Yeah, what's your final thoughts on Porter Spence?
It was a great night of boxing, and the questions of what people thought people are and who people think they are is not the truth. Is really with Porter in my eyes. Spencer's a great fighter. He's still got some ways to go. The level of competition does in this point when you become a world champion, you can fight these guys that no one's heard of, and they might give you a great fight. But it really to stay where you are, you have to fight a higher level of competition. And Porter has been doing it. Ever since he lost his belt from Kell Brook, he's steadily stayed in the top 10 fighting great fighters, even contenders, just to get himself back up there. He's clawed himself back up there. He was the OBC champion. He's a 2-time world champion. You know what I mean? And you can see why. If you're not on your game, he can beat you. Now, Spence, as the cachet of being one of the top guys in boxing, maybe that got him through the scorecards, but I don't think that will. And the next time, You know, I don't know. Danny Garcia, he should win, but Danny can hit. Danny can hit, and a lot of people watch that and get confidence and don't be surprised if Danny beats him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The winner is boxing. That's all I can say. The winner is boxing. That was a great card.
Yep.
I'm watching on the card as we speak. So it's a great night of boxing.
100%. How do you rate that fight, John D. Lee?
I find Porter's style difficult to watch, but it's really effective, and I respect him. I thought he put in a really good shift.
Yeah. But I ordinarily don't like Porter's style. I don't like his style, full stop. But on this occasion, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I think the fact that he gave Spence so much trouble made it an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
And I think the person who's come out of it with whose stats raised is actually Porter.
Yep.
Particularly in America. I mean, there seems to be a lot of people upset about the result.
Yeah.
Which has probably actually done Porter a lot of favors.
Yeah, it's good for him as well, for his profile, because obviously he raises one man's profile, another man's profile gets raised too. So like, subscribe, comment, and share. Okay, folks. So we got the Twitter link there. We got the donate link there. If you want to chip in the price of a pint of beer and you've never done so, all you do is you hit the link, which is in the subscription box. Jono's done it from Big Boys Boxing. Who else has done it? Ped has done it. Ped's sleeping right now. I ain't seen him in the chat for a long time. Ped's done it. Toby Bartlett's done it. Who else? We're scrolling up. I'm scrolling up. I don't want to miss anybody. I I think D-Bro's definitely done it. D-Bro's donated. Shola Ibofin has donated. Scott 70 has donated. So hit that. Don't be shy to hit that PayPal button and donate. Donate to the cause. Donate to the cause. All the information regarding the payments, what it goes towards, is in the description box. So don't be shy to come to contribute the equivalent of a pint of beer. And read the link in the description box. I want to keep the show moving. I can't step away. Mods, do your reminders. Thank you. Appreciate it. Right. So what? So is that one of the fights of the year so far, John Dealey? Is that one of the championship fights of the year so far?
Yeah, I don't think it's the fight. I still think the upset's still the biggest talking point of the year.
The upset could still be the biggest talking point of the year, as far as championship fights go. But as far as entertainment level go, I have to give it to, in terms of championship fights that I have seen, I would have to give it to, what's that in my eye? I would have to give it to Spence Porter. It was highly entertaining, never a dull moment. Every round was lit. Lit. And just scrolling through the chat a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to look for the next topic. First of all, we strike this one from the records book. Oh, I know what the next topic is because it flows. It flows so nicely. I remember it. Okay, because this flows again. So it's a triple flow. It's a chain move. In grappling, we call this a chain move. You do one move, which leads to another, which leads to another. It's called a chain. We got a nice chain here. Got a nice chain. Okay, so this follow-up question. As we move on, follow-up question is Spence versus Crawford. Listen to the question carefully. Is Spence now the A side? And does that have an impact on the percentage split. And with that one, I'm going with EJ Boxing first. Oh, I can't because EJ Boxing's dropped off. Maybe he's pudding. Maybe his dessert has arrived. Maybe his dessert has arrived. Now, question is, did his dessert come by taxi or moped? Okay, I'll let people ponder on that for a while. John D. Lee.
Yeah, I think Spencer's the A side. They're certainly going to play that card until he is anyway.
Yeah.
But Bob Arum can't really do anything to raise Crawford's profile, can he?
Nope. Because it's
He
all
hasn't
over
got
on
a
the
single
PBC.
name for him to fight.
It's all over on the PBC side. Pacquiao PBC. Thurman PBC. Porter PBC, and of course Spence PBC. So yeah, Bob Arum hasn't got a hand to play. All he can do is grow some in-house talent and hope that he rises. But right about now, he doesn't have a hand to play, which I guess that's his fault, isn't it? He had Pacquiao.
He hasn't even got anyone at 154 because that would be the only other thing he could do with him.
Yeah. Well, that's Top Rank's fault. That's their.
Oh, it's all down to Bob.
That's their fault. You got to have damn contingency plans in any game, in any business. You need contingency plans, and Bob ain't got it. Before I answer, and so to be clear, you said that Spence would now, with the 2 belt, with him being champ. No, that's not champ. It's different divisions. With him being a 2 belt holder, he has to be logically looked at as the A side now. Is that a fair assessment?
That coupled to the fact that there's no way to raise Crawford's profile.
Okay. So before I give you my response, I want to go into the chat and see what's popping. Okay. For me, Spence only just beating a guy. Oh, who's this? This Big Boys Boxing. He can say it himself. Big Boys Boxing, he's here. He can say it for himself. He can read his own comment.
How you doing, lads?
In the building. I'm very well, Big Boys Boxing. How are you, my friend?
Not too bad at all.
Wicked.
Excuse any background noise. I've got some neighbours with their sounds up and school holidays here. So.
Oh, I got you. Don't worry about that, mate. We know the school. We've all had the school holiday. The school holiday ruckus going on around us at some time or other. Okay, so Big Boys Boxing, good of you to join us. Talk to me about Spence Porter.
It was an awesome fight to watch, man. I've got to give both those guys credit for putting their hearts into that fight, and they both put in a pretty reasonable performance. For me, it was a good gauge finder for Spence. He's had that really good win over Kell Brook in the past, but after this fight, it kind of makes me think, I wonder how the fight would have gone if Kell Brook's eye socket hadn't got broken.
100%. I've always thought that.
I know I'm not a big fan of triangle theories, but still, Porter beat Spence convincingly for me, and Spence only just beat Porter. So, in my eyes, I think Spence is a bloody good fighter. I'm not going to say anything else, but I don't think he's great at this stage. He still could be, but he's got a way to go.
100%. He's got a way to go. He's about 31 already, so he's got a few years left. But the lighter guys that don't, mind you, Pacquiao might have something to say about that. I mean, he's still going now. What is he? 40?
40. He's a freak, though, isn't he?
He's a freak of nature. You can't gauge anything off him. He's a freak of nature. He's 40 and he's at championship level. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's outrageous. What the hell? But yeah, one of the championship fights of the year. I'm not talking about any fight, just championship belt fights. One of the championship fights of the year.
It's definitely right up there. At the moment, I think it's probably the most competitive fight, the best fight to watch. I know heaps of people are talking about the upset that went down with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz.
Yeah.
Their second fight could be better. I mean, Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz could be great as well. I don't think it will be, but it could be.
No.
We will see.
We shall see. I mean, the Joshua, that was the biggest upset. I put that in the biggest upset category. But as time in terms of action-packed, not a minute to breathe. I think this fight has to take it.
Yeah, at this stage, I agree.
At this stage, where are we? We're in just the end of September. We've got 3 months to go, so we got 3 months. Anything can happen in 3 months. That's a quarter. We've got the last quarter of the year, so anything can happen. Okay, so the key point, the pertinent point that I haven't asked you. So what's the key point? Oh yeah. So is Spence, now that he's got 2 belts, he's the only welterweight with 2 belts now. Is Spence the A side going into a Crawford fight with 2 belts?
I guess technically he probably is, but for me, I still think it's 50-50. Just looking at the fight itself.
Yeah.
Crawford hasn't faced the level of opponents that Spence has faced at welterweight yet. So I guess technically you still got to give it to Spence.
Yeah. So technically you have to say Spence is the A side.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And what do I think? Yeah, I think it's the championship fight of the year that I've seen, the championship fights. And even though I feel that Crawford overall is a higher caliber fighter than Spence goes in with those 2 belts, so it may sway the situation economically. In terms of economics, I think they're pretty even, Steven. It's not like one's an economic powerhouse and the other is not. There doesn't appear to be much of a differential between the two. Is that a fair assessment? Do they seem relatively even in their economic power?
I think so. Well, Spencer's got those 2 belts, but Crawford's been undisputed at a lower weight, so he's definitely got a good name, and everybody knows he's got some good skill. So I think they're relatively even, just being real.
Yeah, relatively even. And here, joining us for the first time in a long time, we have the one and only Ross Plot. How do you do? So I'll give you that big build up. And you're not even there. What's going on, Ross? Come on, mate.
Hold on.
Still sorting himself out.
You still sorting yourself out. I'll come back. Well, I'll come back to you. Put yourself on mute, and when I see you unmute yourself, I'll know you're ready. Okay. So, John Dealey, your final words on this topic. I'll put you on mute, John.
I think in financials, Spence is actually ahead because of the pay-per-view numbers. Whilst they're not amazing.
Yeah.
Crawford's fighting nobody's interested in watching, so his views are just not good.
His views are not good. Okay. His views are not good, so because of Spence's economic superiority. You allow me to use such a crude term, then you give Spence the edge in terms of A side, B side. In terms of the A side, B side argument, is that a fair assessment, John D. Lee?
Yeah, and it's only going to carry on because whilst you might not think Danny Garcia is the most competitive fight, it's going to drive numbers. People will be interested in seeing the fight.
Ross, thank you. Ross Clark in the building. How you doing, Ross Clark?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a while. You've been giving us the cold shoulder, bro.
I'm just busy, man. Hey, Spence is the A side, hands down. I mean, there's no argument there.
Why?
Terrence Crawford's best accolades is at 140 pounds. Now we're talking about 147 pounds. Spence beating Porter is better than anyone that Crawford has faced at 147. Horn and Benavidez, I'm sorry, but they don't come close to Brook or Porter. They don't even come close to Chris Algieri.
Okay. Who do you think is the superior fighter between Spence and Crawford?
Oh, looking at the eye test, of course, it would have to be Terrence Crawford. I actually, and people think I'm crazy, but I actually think Errol Spence will probably win 2 or 3 rounds in that fight. Crawford is going to school him like pretty easy.
Okay, so I want to come in there. I want to come in on that specific point. So even though Spence is the higher rank because he has 2 belts, so he has to be the A side, and plus he has more belts and his economic power is greater, so that makes him the A side. Even though that's acknowledged, you still acknowledge or recognize or believe Crawford to be the better boxer.
Yes.
Okay.
Clearly. Listen, if Crawford fought Spence, it would be super ugly, and I'd pick Porter. I'd pick Crawford to stop Porter. He would stop Porter.
Big Boys Boxing. You're on mute, my friend. I muted you, my friend. Big Boys Boxing. Yeah, Big Boys Boxing. Can you unmute yourself, my friend? Yeah.
Good now?
Oh, yeah, you're good now. Yeah, I muted you.
Sorry, man.
No problem. So the question is, it appears that the economic power is with Crawford. He has a bigger economic power, but who do you see as the better fighter betwixt the two?
I think it's close, but I do think Terrence Crawford is the better fighter. He has the ability to download information for the first few rounds, and the further the fight goes through, the more dangerous he is for his opponent. So I think it would only be a matter of time. I think he would stop Spence, to be honest. But as for the economic power, just playing a little bit of devil's advocate there as well.
Yeah.
How much of the pay-per-views that he's been in has been due to him? You know, Mikey Garcia brought a lot of Mexican fans for that big pay-per-view that he did last time. So
he did.
You know, there's going to be people bringing that argument. Well, he hasn't got that much economic power because he wasn't the draw for those pay-per-views. So, you know, you can look at it both ways. But when it comes to the fighters, I do think Terrence Crawford is a better fighter. But I really want to see that fight. I really want to see it. I've almost given up hope, though, to be honest.
Yeah, Spence doesn't seem to want it at all. PBC, we know how they operate. It's an in-house operation. So, John Dealey, I don't know if I've asked you this question. Who do you see as the better fighter? John Dealey. Right, okay. So we get into where I want to get now. Okay, so John Dealey, Big Boys Boxing, Ross Clark, myself, Raphael Dawkins of the Combat Radio. We all are in agreement that or of the opinion that Crawford is the better boxer. And I think most of us are in agreement that Crawford, one way or the other, is the greater economic power. And now we get to my crunch point. Now let me read this again. Right. So, okay. Right. Now, I've got it. Okay. Now, Spence says that I am the A side now. I've got 2 belts. I am the A side now with my 2 belts. Okay. Well, firstly, smash that like button, folks. If you're enjoying the show, smash that like button. Hit that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Is there anything else I need to say? Oh, yeah. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. And smash that PayPal button for the price of a beer. Contribute the price of a beer if you love this shizzle. Okay, so back to the point. Right, so Spence says, now I've got 2 belts. I'm the A side now. Spence is with Premier Boxing Champions. 2 belts makes him the A side against Crawford. That's pertinent. That's a key point. That's a key point. Keep that in mind. Now, I want you guys to explain to me how the PBC are pushing the narrative that Spence, because he has 2 belts, is now the A side. And also, we agree he has the greater economic power. Okay, fine. Right. So now let's transpose that situation onto Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua, you like the setup? It was a nice setup. It was beautiful. It was like Wimbledon quality tennis. Okay, so Anthony Joshua, transpose it. Anthony Joshua, 3 belts. When he had 3 belts. Versus Deontay Wilder's 1 belt. Anthony Joshua, by far the superior economic power to Deontay Wilder's inferior economic power. Deontay Wilder with the PBC. The PBC said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Joshua has 3 belts. It doesn't matter that Joshua is the greater economic power. It's still 50-50. I don't know where I'm going to start with this one. Jono, you're on the line already. Okay. You tell me how that makes sense. Make that make sense to me.
Well, how it's going to make sense is if Crawford does to Spence what Wilder did to Joshua. They're not going to like. They're not going to like. They're not going to like their own. They're not going to like their own script being flipped on them, whatsoever. If Spence wants to become undisputed, he's going to have to pay Crawford handsomely.
Yeah.
And I would not blame Crawford whatsoever for saying 50-50 or fuck off, just like Deontay Wilder said, excuse my French, but that was a quote.
I like it. I like it. But just expand on it. Expand on it a little bit. Is this not clear hypocrisy at play?
Extreme hypocrisy. Extreme. They've set the precedent for it, so if it gets done to them, they better not cry like little biatches.
Yeah, 100% clear and extreme hypocrisy. Ross Clot, please break it down, please. Make this make sense to me, please. Help me out. Help my brother out.
I have to respectfully disagree with you guys, and you guys know I hate doing this, especially when it's talking about Wilder. But
do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
The difference is both AJ and Wilder are both heavyweights. And yes, AJ did have a superior resume than Wilder, but at least to his defense, they're both heavyweights. In this case, Spence again has the better resume than Crawford. I mean, we can't even. There's no debate there. Number two.
No, I'm going to come back to you. But the criteria that we were using was one, the amount of belts, A, and B, economic power. Those are the two criteria that we base this thing on.
I mean, well, if we're going by economic criteria, then Spence is the one that's making more money and had a pay-per-view fight that's bigger than anything Crawford has been in.
Yeah, so that's Spence is Joshua with the more belts.
How many casual fans watched Crawford versus Jeff Horn? How many casual fans watched Crawford versus that crippled guy, Benavidez?
Yeah.
How many? And then how many casual fans watch Kell Brook and Spence? You get what I'm saying? Like Spence, I hate to say it, like he would be the inside in this situation. Unfortunately.
Hold on, but you're making the argument for Joshua here because Spence is Joshua in this equation.
Well, Joshua doesn't have any belts anymore.
No. We're talking about when he had the belts, and if he gets them back when he had the belts. What? No, let's make this very clear. We're talking about when Joshua had the 3 belts and the economic power. So we're talking about the man with the majority belts and the majority of the economic power. That equivalent, the equivalent of that is Spence right now.
Yeah, but I understand, but it's a hard comparison. It's a hard comparison because Wilder had a WBC belt, which is way more significant than that WBO that Crawford had. I mean, it is. It just is.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, listen, there's so many belts. It's even I hate even speaking on these belts because it's just too many of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, whatever the offer is, I want Spence to take it because this is an easier way for Crawford to get all the belts and not have to go through what Spence had to go through, fighting the guys that he fought. With this fight, one fight, and he gets all those belts. One fight, and I know he could do it.
Okay, so let's be clear. Spence is Joshua. He's the guy with the more belts and the guy with the economic power. But you said you disagreed. So
but it's hard to compare. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's hard to compare. In that situation, yes, AJ would have been the A side because he had the better resume and he has more belts. He would have to be the A side. I mean, if you're going to go by a resume,
who's the A side? Sorry, who's the A side? Sorry,
it would have been Anthony Joshua would have been the A side in that situation because of his resume and him having more belts. That's a different situation than Spence and Crawford.
How is it different?
I mean, it's two different situations because Crawford is coming up to his weight class and his best accolades is in the lower weight class.
But you're not disagreeing with the hypothesis, though. You came in saying you was going to disagree with the hypothesis, but you're not disagreeing. You're agreeing.
Oh, well, then there you go. Then I agree with you guys. I take my words back.
Did you intend to disagree?
I tried to disagree because, but now that I understand the question, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Wilder would be in this situation. He would be a hypocrite.
Right. And what made you think he wasn't?
I was going by what Spence has done. I was going by what Crawford has done at 147 compared to what AJ has done.
Oh.
You get it? So if you compare the two from 147 to what AJ done in heavyweight, Anthony Joshua is way more successful at heavyweight than Crawford is as of right now at 147.
I get you. I understand. Right. So there is no disagreement thus far. John D. Lee.
I'm not sure the PBC really care what the outside universe think.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even listing Crawford as a welterweight champion.
That's true.
I think they're happy playing by themselves
mm-hmm.
in their own little world.
Yep.
And they're comfortable with hypocrisy and double standards.
Wow, that's hardcore. It's true. It's hardcore.
So I don't think they're going to be worried about justifying how this is any different. They'll just ignore it.
Mm.
They're happy to ignore the fact that Terence Crawford is even a welterweight champion or belt holder. They put out a listing recently, didn't they? And they ignored him altogether.
Yeah.
They're totally in the driving seat.
Uh-huh.
Every time they come to play with it, come to anything co-promotional, where they're only interested in doing the work if it suits their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
After Wilder fights Ortiz, when they were looking at how the landscape lay, if they really did sign the Fury contract before AJ lost to Ruiz, they didn't really have many opponents left for Wilder, so it made sense to them to make that fight.
Run that by me again. What did you just say?
Okay. So fight week between Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Wilder announces 2 fights, doesn't he?
Correct.
So if the Fury rematch was actually signed then,
yeah,
they probably thought Ruiz was going to lose.
Right.
Because most people did.
Yeah.
So after Ortiz, what opponents have they actually got for Wilder? Kawanaki, that's not really going to make any money, is it?
No.
If you're going to continue to not fight Anthony Joshua, which looked like that was their plan, you're not going to really generate a lot of buzz around Wilder fighting Kawanaki, are you?
No.
So I think they will work with other people when it suits them, because they don't have a lot of options at heavyweight, but they do have a lot of options at welterweight. So they're quite happy to just blank Terence Crawford and possibly wait till he's older. How old is he? 32 now?
He's got to be early 30s, yeah.
Spence is 29.
Is he 29? I think he's not 30.
Yeah, no. Is he 30 this year? He's still 29.
Okay.
But I mean, there's a few months left. He might turn 30 this year.
Okay. Well, in the next few months, yeah.
Yeah. So I think they may think they can make the fight in a couple of years, and Crawford will be old. Yeah. And if he loses, so what? We won't worry about fighting him.
Okay. So, yeah, all those points valid. So, I'm going to add my thing in. Okay. So clearly, you can tell by the way I couch the question that you can tell what my position is. It's clear hypocrisy on the part of PBC Premier Boxing Champions. The guy with the most belts, they're proclaiming, and the greater economic power, they are proclaiming as the A side. But yet, when you transpose that situation, and we look at the Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder situation, the guy with the greater amount of belts, even more than Spence, longer than Spence, and the guy with the greater economic power, even more than Spence, way more than Spence, for longer than Spence, they deemed as only worthy of a 50-50 split. But now, Spence is what could be deemed as the A side with the more belts. He's got 2. Crawford's got 1, with a bigger economic power, even if it's not derived by himself, but in conjunction with others, because he don't draw that by himself. He needs a dance partner to draw that, to be a big economic draw. So even though he's not necessarily the economic draw in his fights that have done well economically, he's a part of it. Okay, so now They're proclaiming this guy as the A-side when they wouldn't acknowledge Joshua as the A-side. Clear, unadulterated hypocrisy. Clear and unadulterated hypocrisy. Clear for all to see. Clear and totally unambiguous. So, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? It leaves us perfectly clear about what's going on. Perfectly clear about what's going on. So PBC were messing about. They were having a laugh. They are now have to be held to the standards. Their feet have to be held to the fire over this clear and unambiguous hypocrisy. I want to see how they get out of this. I want to see how they get out of this one. Can they get out of this one? It's clear. It's BS on the part of the PBC. Okay, so let me have a look at the question. Let me see if it's thoroughly answered. The A side, yep. The A side, yep. Okay, so strategy time. Just to conclude. No problem. Big Boys Boxing had to drop out. The kids are hyperactive. Got to tend to them. 100%. Thank you for joining us. Big Boys Boxing. Okay, so strategy time. What does Anthony Joshua do if he wins? When they come a knocking, does he go to them? Does Anthony Joshua go to them with proposals, or does he say, pardon my language, you know, I don't swear on the channel, but does he say to Team PBC, Team Wilder, screw you? Red gloved militant. What does Joshua do if he wins back the belts? You're on mute, my friend. You're on mute.
Did you mean Ross Clark, Raphie?
Sorry. Ross Clark.
Yeah, what's up?
So what does if Anthony Joshua wins back the belts,
Okay.
you know, the ABC are going to come back with their nonsense, what we've already identified as pure nonsense. What does Anthony Joshua do if he wins back the belts in regards to PBC and Deontay Wilder?
Well, as a boxing fan, and I hope that some of you guys will agree with me. As a boxing fan, if he wins all belts back, I believe that Andy Ruiz should get a third match.
That's interesting. That is very interesting.
Because I come from the era of boxing fans where we got rematches and we got trilogies, and sometimes we got 4 and 5 fights. I come from that era.
Yeah.
And I would hate to see AJ beat Ruiz and not give him a shot for a third time. I mean, no matter how the first fight come, no matter how we feel of it, whether it was a fluke, lucky punch, or whatever, he beat that boy. He beat that boy. And if Ruiz loses this time, I think that they should give us a third match. Now, when it comes to rematches with Wilder and Ortiz, I don't want to sound biased.
Let me stop you there. Before you go on to further elaborate. We're going to come straight back to you.
Okay.
Come straight back to you, and you can elaborate.
Go ahead.
You can continue. Right. The reason why I'm AJ's manager or his promoter.
Okay.
The reason I don't give him a rematch with Ruiz if he wins is because Ruiz was merely a stand-in.
Good point. That's a good point.
Merely a stand-in, my friend. Merely a stand-in.
Okay.
My lady's out of town.
Okay.
My lady is out of town, and so I'm going to an important dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I need for the purposes of this dinner, it's males accompanied by females.
Okay.
Her friend is kind enough to step in.
Okay.
I am not married to this woman. She was there for a purpose. After the dinner, I drop her off home, or she takes a taxi, and I go back to my home, to my situation.
Okay.
Normal standards are resumed.
Right.
And on that basis, my dear fellow,
Okay.
I do not put my fighter back in with the stand-in who happened to beat him.
Okay. All right. Can I rebuttal that?
Of course.
Okay. And I get your point, but do you remember when Roberto Duran lost to Esteban de Jesus? It was a 10-round fight,
Yeah.
no title fight. It was no title fight.
That's right.
Okay, but Roberto Duran said, "You know what? This guy beat me. He outpointed me.
Yeah.
I have to fight him again, even though it was a non-title fight."
Yeah.
And he gave him a chance to fight him.
Yeah.
Even though Ruiz was just a stand-in.
Yeah.
He didn't just outbox him. He knocked him out. He stopped him.
But it's a different situation because Roberto Duran had to redeem himself. And so I put it to you that in this rematch, it is Roberto Duran redeeming himself.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. All right.
That's my rebuttal to your rebuttal.
So he goes, so you feel like if he beats Ruiz, he should go straight for Wilder?
No, I say if he beats Ruiz, he goes about his business. It's business as usual, as planned.
Okay. Fair enough.
There was a bump in the road. If he beats Ruiz, then that was a bump in the. I would categorize that as a bump in the road. But you carry on about your business. You fix the puncher and you go about your business.
Okay.
That's my. But anyway, but carry on with your further point beyond that point.
No, I was just saying, I would like to see a third match only because, Ruiz is giving him because Ruiz could easily just say no. He could go about rematch clauses. There's always ways. Ruiz
couldn't say no. I'll tell you, Ruiz couldn't say no because he tried to say no. He tried to say, we're the A side now.
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
We're the A side now. I need $50 million.
You're right. Okay.
$50 million. And let's look at what happened. Eddie Hearn allowed him to stomp his feet in the sand in his play pit. He allowed him to stomp his feet in the play pit, in the sand in the play pit. And then when it came to the crunch time, my friend, when it came down to the crunch, Eddie said, okay, mate, you've had your little fun now. We've got this offer from Saudi Arabia, Diriyah. It's a good offer. You're not going to screw it up. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take you to court. Here's your lawsuit. And they came running back to Eddie and said, no, please, no. Can we talk about this? And Eddie said, sure, you've got my number. Give me a call at 12 o'clock tomorrow, sharp. 12 o'clock lunchtime, sharp. Not a minute before, not a minute after. 12 o'clock sharp. Give me a call. And they gave him a call. He said, well, Eddie, is there anything we can do, man? Because, we want to work this out, man. And Eddie said, listen, mate, I'm going to give you $2 million. Yeah. And you will sign this paper, this paper, this paper, this paper, that paper. And that's how it went down. That's why back to you, though. Back to you.
When you put it in those terms, then yeah. I mean, if I was Anthony Joshua, when you put it that way, no, I wouldn't give Ruiz a third match if AJ wins. But I'm talking as a boxing fan, I would love to see a third match. But in Wilder versus Ortiz boxing match, and I'm trying to not sound as biased as I can be, but that rematch should have happened immediately, like this one has happened. Instead, Wilder waited, and they know that they're fighting a more older, fat, sloppy, out of shape version of Ortiz. So for me, this rematch wouldn't be as significant as a third match with Ruiz versus AJ, in my opinion. But I do agree with you with that. No, when you look at it like that, with him trying to get out to swindle his way out of the fight, I wouldn't give him a third match.
Why? Why wouldn't you give him?
No, I wouldn't give him a third match.
Why not?
Just because he really tried to get out of the fight, and I remember that. I remember him talking about he wanted 50 million and wanting to get endorsed by Snicker bars and all this. So
it's got to be in Mexico. We're the A side now. We're the A side now. It's got to be in Mexico. He was an ungrateful little wretch.
Yeah, because unfortunately for Ruiz in this situation, and it's like that sometimes, even though he won, he isn't the draw. AJ is still the draw, no matter how you put it.
Yeah.
So AJ in that situation was still the A side. Yeah. It's just like Floyd Mayweather was to lose to Maidana. Maidana wouldn't be the A side because Floyd would still be the draw.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so how does Anthony Joshua go about his dealings with the PBC now that they've been totally shown to be hypocritical in how they decide their splits? Does Anthony Joshua even approach? Anthony Joshua even approach Deontay Wilder, or does he say, "Listen, we tried with you, and all you did was jerk us around"?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd make Wilder wait. Because,
of course,
Wilder. Listen, Wilder is in a position where he doesn't have to ever fight Anthony Joshua.
Correct.
No matter how successful Anthony Joshua can become, he doesn't ever have to fight Anthony Joshua. He doesn't have to fight Ruiz. He's going to always be to his fans the number one guy. Yeah. His fans believe that he's the one who beat AJ, not Ruiz. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's how delusional his fans are. So he doesn't ever have to fight him.
That's true.
And I feel like Anthony Joshua, if he beats Ruiz, no, you want to fight me? You come to the UK and fight me. Otherwise, we're never going to have. Meet me at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah. See you at Wembley. See you at Wembley when you're ready for Wembley. Yeah. See you at Wembley when you're ready for Wembley. Give us a call, and if you're not ready, then just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, but let's see how this rematch come to play, and then we can revisit this topic.
Yeah, we can pontificate upon it further after the rematch because who knows what can happen? Could be anything could happen. Okay. Right. Thank you for your honest assessment, John D. Lee.
Quick answer is you should ignore Wilder altogether.
Yep.
I think he's got fights lined up.
Let me stop you, John. Let me stop you. I'm coming straight back to you.
Go
on. Shouldn't he take care of his mandatories?
Well, Big Boy's Basson stole my thunder the whole time. I was listening to Rask at him. Is what I was thinking, and he's snuck in there and he stuck it in the comment section. I'll tell you which order they're going to go in as well. He'll fight Pulev first because the IBF is stricter.
Yep.
And Hearn controls Usyk, so they can time that to a favourable time for themselves.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're going to do. And I mean, Eddie's hinted that he can't be bothered with dealing with him anymore. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Say that last bit again.
Well, when I've seen Eddie being interviewed, he doesn't seem to be very bothered about trying to make any deals or fights with any PBC fighters. I think the Ruiz things really upset him. It was bad enough what having to go through all the Wilder shenanigans.
Yeah.
But then having Ruiz play at it as well. Why is Eddie Hearn going to do any business with Al now?
He shouldn't.
Well, I don't think he will do. And there's two fights that he's going to have to fight. So he might as well just fight them.
There's 2 fights he has to fight. Yeah, mandatory.
Pulev. Yeah, so he's got to fight Pulev.
Mhm.
And I think Aaron will push that as hard as he can anyway.
Yeah.
And then I think because Usyk fights for under Matchroom, I think they'll manage it so that that's done after the Pulev fight. So then he can retain all 3 belts, maintain his position, and that's next year taken care of, isn't it, really?
100%. Okay, good work there, John. I see you.
Yeah.
I see you've done needed to be done.
It's a family show, Raphie.
Bear with me, folks. I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know where Ped is, and I want to know where Toby Bartlett is. Give me a second. Need to work something out here. Good work, John. Okay, so they're on the ball. Right. Okay, so okay. I'll be back in 15 minutes, says Ross Clark. Okay, I just need to.
I want to know what Brooklyn Charles is going to disagree with.
Brooklyn Child loves to disagree, but the thing is, do you have the argument, Brooklyn Child, to back your disagreement? Never yet. You've never yet done that, my friend. So maybe next time when you come on, maybe you can have an argument to fully support your disagreement.
All that we're saying is that AJ shouldn't go out of his way to make a fight with Wilder.
Yeah, well, you see, first of all, I'm gonna retrack a little bit. First of all, Big Boys Boxing is back. Yes. Big Boys Boxing. Put the kids to bed early.
I was sorted out my rumble in the jungle in my lounge.
Rumble in the jungle. Oh man, you gotta love the rumbunctious lads. That's how we are when we're young. That's just how it is. Where did you leave out, Big Boys? No, hold on. Before I get back to you, let me just address Brooklyn Child. Right, Brooklyn Child. You would need first of all in this scenario here, you would need to say that you would need to explain how Spence is the A side. If you're saying you disagree with this, that means you disagree. I'm going to get off soon. I'm turning. Yeah. No problem, John. No problem. John, when it's your bedtime, mate, just say so, and we will say au revoir. Au revoir. When it's your bedtime, just let us know. That's no problem. I think you're saying now, aren't you? You're effectively saying you're going to you're popping up.
You've ruined my subtlety, Raph.
Well, if it's time for a Man Ovaltine, I'm not going to stand between him and his mug of Ovaltine, mate. I'm not that type of guy.
It's been a good show.
It's been a damn good show.
I'll catch up with you guys soon.
John, much appreciate you jumping on, mate. We're going to catch up again real soon. There's the Wednesday show. If I don't see you on the Wednesday, with the Wednesday show. Thank you, John. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that. See you guys.
Thank you.
Take it easy, John.
So, Brooklyn Child. So that would mean that you would disagree that Spence is the A side in the current situation with Crawford. Now, so you'd have to disagree with that. You'd be saying that Spence is not the A side. Now, if that is what you're saying, then fine, you'd have a leg to stand on. But if you're saying that Spence is the A side in this situation, then you don't have a leg to stand on. And we can debate that the next time you get on here. Yeah, Brooklyn Child? Okay, so moving on. I completely disagree. Okay, let me just scroll through a couple of these statements because the chatters got away from me. Sounds like I'm halfway to ticket to Saudi. No, I just got enough for a few pay-per-views. But I appreciate everybody who has contributed to the PayPal. Smash that PayPal button. Much appreciated. I'm just trying to find where I should be in the chat. Yeah. Smash that button. Okay.
Brooklyn Child, I don't think anybody's disputing that Wilder and Anthony Joshua are the champions at the moment.
Nobody's disputing that.
No. I'm not quite sure what he's getting at there.
I don't know what you're getting at, Brooklyn Child. You need to explain yourself further, my friend. Just scrolling through some of the comments. And then we'll get back into the chat. Okay, well, let's do that now, actually. What's Brooklyn Child saying now?
Brooklyn Child reckons the Spence and Crawford fight is 50-50. So, okay.
Spence and Crawford fight is 50-50. That's rather convenient, Brooklyn Child. That's rather convenient. I know you're a PBC guy. Why are you not supporting the PPV line? You always supported the PPV line before. Why are you deviating from the PPV line now, Brooklyn Child? Because it's convenient? Is that what it is?
Yeah, because that makes Joshua the Wilder prior to the Anthony Joshua loss 50-50, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. How convenient. How convenient. Well, we're going to have to chop this up when you get on next time, Brooklyn Child. In the meantime, we have to move on. Smash the like button. Yeah, so it's time for the next question. Let me hold on. Have you chopped up? Did you? I think you did. You said what you said your views on the 50-50 was hypocritical. Sorry, not the 50-50. The PPV stance, Big Boys Boxing, the PPV stance that Crawford's the A side, but Joshua is just 50-50.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think technically, Spence is the A side.
The better fighter. Yeah.
But there's always going to be that argument that he wasn't the draw in that Mikey Garcia fight. So
yeah. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. But I think we've chopped that one up thoroughly, and I think I can safely cross that off the topic list. And the general consensus is that the PBC are being hypocritical if they say that Spence is the A side, but Anthony Joshua is not,
or was not in the past tense, was not. But interestingly, just let's just do this for a few seconds. So Anthony Joshua hypothetically wins. Let's say that Ruiz beats Ruiz, and he comes back. What should? Oh yeah, I don't think I've asked you this. Have I asked you this? What should Anthony Joshua's stance be towards Deontay Wilder? Does he go back to him, knocking on his door, saying, "Come on, I've got my belts back. Come on, will you come out to play?" There's no point chasing him immediately because he's got a contracted fight for February. So find something else to do for now. And I think taking on one of his mandatories at the very least.
Oh yeah,
would be a good idea. Get that out of the way so it keeps one belt safe.
Yeah.
Depending what Wilder wants to do after Ortiz and after Fury, and depending on the result with the Fury one in particular, I think Eddie should be possibly talking to Shelley Finkel about an undisputed fight, but I wouldn't go balls to the wall trying to get that made and rely on that fight because we know what happened last 3 years. So yeah, I wouldn't put most of my eggs in that basket. I'd just put one egg in that basket and maybe organize the second mandatory to try and keep the belt safe in the meantime.
Do you think that PBC have any great desire to fight Anthony Joshua?
Not at all.
No.
If he's got the belts, then they want to fight him. But It doesn't seem.
Do they want to fight him if he has the belts? Do they want to fight him if he has the belts?
Well, they want the belts. That's what they want.
They want the belts, just the same way they want Crawford's belt.
Pretty well. I don't think they even care about Crawford's belt because it's WBO. They're ignoring the WBO. I mean, they're even calling Andrew Ruiz the unified IBF and WBA champion.
Oh, okay. So it's
WBO doesn't exist to PBC.
Okay, so they've gone to that length to discredit Crawford. Brooklyn Child, why does the WBO not count to PBC people? Brooklyn Child, why does the WBO belt not count to PBC people? You can answer that at your leisure, my good man. I will proceed on. I just remembered the excuse that the PBC have. Just remember their excuse. Okay. I think that is most of the big topics. Let me make sure. Oh, and in the same vein, we're going to finish off with Daniel Dubois, but this is the penultimate. This is the penultimate question. The last question is more of a light-hearted one, talking about Daniel Dubois, but the penultimate one is staying with Wilder and Joshua Wilder. I meant to ask this question last week, but we ran out of time. And the question is, I'll just answer that. Is Joshua, I need to cross that off. We've done it. Is Joshua Wilder 50-50? So it appears that we have come down to the last brief topic. Yeah, the last one. How long have I been on? Okay, damn, that 2.5 hours flew by. Right, so last thing. Daniel Dubois. How special is he?
He's certainly coming along.
Oh, Ross Party's back. Un momento. Yeah, you carry on, Big Boys Boxing. Carry on.
Yo, I really like how Daniel Dubois is coming along. It wasn't the most competitive fight last time out with what was his name? Ebenezer Tete.
Ebenezer Tete.
Yeah. But he was just staying busy after a good fight. I'd like to see him.
He was for the Commonwealth. He was for a belt.
Yeah, it was. I don't know how they got that belt on the line with Tete.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do they justify Ebenezer Tete being able to fight for it?
I do not know. I mean, I guess wherever he comes from was a part of some kind of Commonwealth or colonizer. So I don't know. Pure speculation on my part.
Ghana. I think that's the same place Richard Latte came from. I thought Richard Latte was a lot better.
Richard Latte was a damn good fight. That was one of my favorite heavyweight fights of the year as far as action is concerned. It was action-packed. There was not a dull moment.
But Daniel Dubois did get that win, and he's got that belt, so he has a bit more power now, and maybe he's going to maybe fight for a European title somewhere along the line. A lot will depend on who Frank can get for him.
Yeah.
Joe Joyce, yes, he's been ordered to fight him, hasn't he? So
he's been ordered.
Will it happen?
In order to fight for the European.
Yeah, EBU. So that's a good fight, man. I think that's a really good fight. Really? I think Daniel Dubois should be able to win it, but
yeah, I wouldn't risk it, but carry on. Not yet.
I wouldn't take Joyce lightly, because if you can't get Joyce out of there within 6 rounds, he's probably going to outlast Daniel Dubois.
He could.
So
he
could be a bit of a risk, but it's definitely a good fight, and it's a good step up for Daniel Dubois.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Ross Clark.
Yes.
Yeah, so you joined us at a good time. It's the last topic with 2.5 hours deep. And the question is, un momento. Sorry, 1 second. If you're enjoying the show, folks, please kindly feel free to smash that like button. If you are here and enjoying the show, but you have not subscribed, you are not a subscriber, please feel free to smash that bell icon or the subscribe button. If you're not currently following me on Twitter, then please kindly do so in case you missed out on notifications from YouTube. And also feel free to smash the donate button if you want to make a small contribution. A pint of a beer is what we say. If you want to chip in a pint, go to the description box. So, with that said, Ross Clark, the question is, or the statement is, Daniel Dubois, how special is he?
I only watched him a couple of times. I think he's okay. I like him better than Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce, he's a big guy, and he has so much to learn. I mean, if you put a decent boxer in there that could move well, that has proper technique, you could beat Joe Joyce pretty handily. If you watch his amateur fights compared to him as a professional, it's not much of a difference. It's not that much of a difference. I think Dubois will beat him.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I think Dubois is a little bit more, he's just better. I know Joe Joyce could punch. I know he's a good puncher, but he does he's like a big clumsy guy, like a Michael Grant or somebody.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. That's Joe Joyce.
And, I know he's still learning. And he does have much. He has a lot of room to grow. But I don't, as of right now, like if you put somebody like Wilder, any elite, Parker, anyone, he'd lose.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
He's durable, but he's very durable.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of his best attributes. He's really durable.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, somebody wrote in, Joe Joyce is like George Foreman on Valium. So that is a rather apt description. That's a rather apt description. My take on Dubois. So have you got anything to say about Dubois himself? You haven't watched him very much. You're not sure, Ross Clark?
I only watched like 2 fights of him, but I watched like 8 fights of Joe Joyce.
Okay, I got you.
I
got you. So,
but from what I saw,
yeah.
I picked Dubois to win, to beat him.
Yeah. And really, we're just looking at Dubois now. We're looking at how special is he. I think he's only 21. He seems to me to be one hell of a prospect. It's early days yet, but he's boxing very well. He's putting combinations together very well. He's going to the body and the head. He's not head hunting. He's going head, body, head. He's mixing his shots up, all kinds of shots. He's following in the footsteps of the likes of your Larry Holmes and your Lennox Lewis. Those are his inspirations. Those guys his dad was a fan of those guys, and his dad has instilled in him the need for the jab. He says all great fighters have a great jab. And so he's being grounded the right way.
Right.
Big boys boxing. Yeah. Big boys boxing. Yeah, you dropped off for a second, I think.
Yeah, I did. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's no problem. So yeah, he's got that jab going. He's got some nice combinations going.
His footwork's improving too.
His footwork's improving.
Yeah, I thought he had concrete boots earlier on in his career, but he's coming along. It seems so. I've got him right up there with some good prospects. Like my top 5 prospects would be like Philip Hergovic, Tony Yoka, Efa Ajagba, Daniel Dubois, and maybe Aslanbek Makhmadov. So he's in that kind of company. That's saying something because they're good fighters, man.
They are, and they're older than him.
Yeah.
He's 21. They're like 25, 26, 27. They're saying FA in Nigeria. They're saying FA Ajaba's in his 30s.
Yeah, it could be right too. You know, it's another case, kind of like Luis Ortiz. We don't know how valid the birth certificate is, so who knows?
Who knows?
Dubois definitely has that advantage with youth.
Yeah,
it's easier to learn, and he's learning fast. So he's going to be a real danger man.
He's definitely learning fast because I remember watching one of his fights in a pub. I can't remember who it was against, and I remember I was watching it with an ex-British champion fighter. I'm not going to mention his name. He will be on the channel at some time as a guest, so I won't give away his name right now. But we were watching the fight, and we both said at the same time he looks slow as molasses. One of his earlier fights, he looked slow as molasses. I thought he won't get far. He won't get far.
It's the amateur style.
Yeah, and then a few.
Even though he didn't have much of an amateur pedigree, but like you were talking about Joe Joyce before, I think he spent far too long in the amateurs, and that amateur style is sticking to him. You can't shake it.
Stuck with him, and then we watched him.
Yeah.
We watched him in the same pub a few fights later, and we both turned to each other and said, "He's looking faster."
Yep.
So he's developing. I think he's only had 12 fights, 13 fights, but he's developing. He's coming along very, very nicely. Did you know that he was a sparring partner to Derek Chisora when he was 16?
No, I didn't. Today's a good day. I learned something. Awesome.
I don't know which fight it was, but I was watching another channel and they were interviewing Dubois, and it said, I remember you when you was what's this running? I remember you when you were a chief sparring partner for Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora had one of his main sparring partners dropped out. Well, we can do the math. I mean, if Daniel Dubois is 21 now, and he was 16 then, so obviously he was 5 years ago. So around the 5 years ago mark, one of Chisora's
David Hay fights.
Yeah, around that period, one of Chisora's chief sparring partners dropped out, and Daniel Dubois, at the age of 16, ended up as Derek Chisora's chief sparring partner.
Man, that's getting chucked in the deep end.
I think that says something about his character. That says something about his character, that he was sparring Derek Chisora at the age of 16.
Dang.
That's some serious. Apparently the interviewer said, "Yeah, we called you the Terminator back then." So I think that tells you a little bit. That gives you an insight into the guy's character.
Yep.
He said he loved it. He said he loved it. Absolutely loved it. That guy may just have ice cold whatever running through his veins. He may just have that.
Yeah, well, even a sparring camp like that could have been the trigger that made him want to go pro so early.
If he survived, if he did well. Otherwise, he'd probably just wanted to keep his ass safe in the amateurs. But clearly, he was not deterred from getting into the amateurs real quick.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go with the final words from I mean, what have I got to say? Is there something I need to add? I mean, is there anything I need to add? Okay, Daniel Dubois. My feelings on Daniel Dubois. I like what I see. I think I've just given you a couple of stories of how my views have changed about Daniel Dubois. Initially, I thought he was slow as molasses. I had no hope for the fella. I saw him a couple of times. He looked slow. He looked cumbersome. He looked like he had feet made out of clay. No hopes for him. And Kevin Johnson fight came around. Do everybody expect him to dispatch? But he got through that 10 rounds with Kevin Johnson. I don't think that was a bad thing. Kevin Johnson is durable. So he did 10 rounds with Kevin Johnson. I thought, okay, that's fine. And then The fight that turned me around on him was the Richard Latte fight, when I saw that he did not shy away from a firefight. Could have been a tad reckless at times, left his chin out at times, but it showed me that what I needed to see. It showed me that with refinement, you see, you can get refined. You can get refined over time, but you can't buy a heart. You can't buy a heart. You've either got it or you don't. And what I saw in the Richard Latte fight was that kid had heart. He had heart for the battle. He had heart for the battle. He was not running away from the battlefield. He had heart for the battle. He wanted the battle. You could see that Daniel Dubois was in there with a fit, stiff hitting guy, and he loved it. He loved it.
I think also that fight was important to kill the questions about his chin.
Yeah.
You know, things like people like Anthony Joshua come through so many easy fights at the start of their career, and everyone was still saying when he got to the Martin fight, I wonder what's going to happen when someone hits him on the chin.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's not a question with Dubois.
Yeah, exactly. He's had his chin tested. He had his chin tested. So that fight, even though it's only recent, that was the fight that had me turn the corner on Daniel Dubois and made me look and say, you know what? This guy could be legit. This guy could develop into the real thing. And so we're going to go to final words with Ross Clark.
Like I said, I only watched 2 fights. I think it's the 2 fights you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 fights that I did like his last fight, which was pretty impressive.
Yes.
A lot of heart. But like I said, I have to watch more of him because I've watched more of Joe Joyce just because I've heard of Joe Joyce more coming up. And so that's why I know more about Joe Joyce than I do Daniel Dubois.
Yeah. Well, I think to be honest with you, the 2 fights you've seen are the 2 fights where he's turned the corner. He's just turned the corner. His style is developing now. I don't really think you need to go too far into the archives. You could watch the Johnson fight. Yeah, the fight with Johnson that went 10 rounds. You could watch that, but really he's just now coming.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah. So I don't think if you go too far back, you're seeing the older version. You know, you're seeing the prototype.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
So I don't think you really need to do too much research. He's just watching him from now, really. The last 2 fights and now, because he's developing rapidly. So I think that's the situation.
Okay.
So Red Glove, Ross Clark, it's been very good having you. I keep on calling you Red Glove Militant. I don't know why, but that's
that's a compliment, trust me.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a compliment. Definitely.
Okay. It's been great having you, and you should come around more often, my friend. Jump on more often.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And final words from peace out, Ross. And final words from Big Boys Boxing. It's flown by tonight. 2 hours, 43 minutes. It's gone really, really quickly. Final words, Big Boys Boxing.
All right, as per usual, thank you very much for having me on. It's always a pleasure. Coming speaking with somebody who's not persuaded by his heart, uses his head. So that's good. But if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon and the thumbs up so you don't miss future content.
100% Big Boys Boxing. He has his own channel. Very good it is too. Feel free to go over there and check him out. Big Boys Boxing. It's been very good having you. Oh, the same applies to Ross Clark as well. My bad. Ross Clark as well has his own channel. Feel free to go over there and check them both out. Big Boys Boxing. My pleasure. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Take it easy.
Take care of yourself. Okay. So it's that time of the night again. I was gonna do some preamble stuff beforehand, but didn't get round to it. We got EJ Boxing. Don't forget EJ Boxing. He was on immediately, started us all off. Thank you, EJ Boxing, for jumping on. Much appreciated. Who do we have? EJ Boxing, Big Boys Boxing, EJ Boxing Live, sorry. Big Boys Boxing. Then John Daly was kind enough to jump on, the in-house talent. And then, who did we? That was Ross Clark. Have I missed anybody? I think that's everybody. I think that's everybody that we had on the panel tonight. It was a good one. The time flew by nicely. By all means, remember to hit that like button. Hit that bell icon. Follow me on Twitter. And for sure, if you want to buy the channel a pint to go towards PPVs and equipment, etc., for sure, feel free to do so. Link is in the description box. And what else is there to say? I think we chopped up a hell of a lot tonight. Hell of a lot tonight. Regular Milton says if you were calling in barbershop conversations, y'all would have had a very different conversation. Oh dear. Yeah, well, barbershop conversations, I think one of my first videos was on the barbershop, but these days I just don't get around so much anymore. I'm too busy making my own kind of videos. It's a time-consuming affair. It is a very time-consuming affair. So, without much further ado, it's been a good one. Time has flown by. And chopped up a lot of subjects. Did have a little bit of a story time prepared for you, but maybe I'll save that one till another time. It's after midnight. And so that is a bedtime for most of us. Chopped up, we looked at various topics throughout the show. Talked about Errol Spence. Errol Spence and Sean Porter. One of the fights of the year so far. One of the championship fights of the year so far. Got no time for the story time, my friend. I gotta go and have my little late night snack and then hit the sack. So next time, Wednesday, remind me. We talked about Errol Spence, Sean Porter. One of the fights of the year. Championship fights of the year, no doubt. Then we looked at Deontay Wilder and Fury. We asked the question, would Tyson Fury step aside for a little bit of change? Would Fury do something strange for a bit of change? That was the question. And then we had the Spence versus Crawford topic. Is Spence the A side in that one? That was interesting. And then we moved on to, if Spence is the A side against Crawford, then surely Joshua should have been the acknowledged A side against Deontay Wilder, which he was to everybody else outside of the PBC. We chopped that one up. And then, what am I missing here? Oh, yeah, we talked about... What did we talk about? I just saw it there. It was right in front of me. Oh, yeah, we talked about... Did we talk about it? I think we talked about it. We talked about Wilder versus Ortiz, did we not? Wilder versus Ortiz. 2 years there. Yeah, we definitely talked about that. 2 years down the line. I hope Ortiz does not get hurt. I had someone in one of my comment sections saying he knew him from Cuba and he's 49 years of age. I worry. I'm concerned about Ortiz. Yeah. I'm worried about Ortiz. I truly am. I hope he gets through this okay. I don't know if a 50-year-old man should be in there with Deontay Wilder. For all that we can say about him, he hits like a mule. That's nothing. That's no joking matter. If he catches you, hits like a damn mule. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. And like we know that Ortiz is already on medication, so I just hope he gets through it okay. And of course, I almost forgot. We talked about Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn, 50. We thought Ortiz was old. Nigel Benn is even older than Ortiz. Hasn't fought for 23 years. We talked about the fact that Nigel Benn hasn't sparred in a long, long time. And when he was asked about it, when he was asked about his fitness, he said, I'm an A grade. When he was asked about his chin, he said, we'll find out when I start doing some sparring. Highly disturbing. I hope that Nigel's okay as well. Yeah. Big Boys Boxing says he sees. Well, Toby Butler says, can we have Raphie versus the Jewel? Raphie and the Jewel part 2 soon. You most certainly may. You most certainly may. I had another story for you, but I'll save that for another day, a rainy day. Big Boys Boxing says, I see Wilder stopping Ortiz in the 4th round, in the round 4. Well, I've said on my previous show. Was it the previous show? Or was it a video? I think it was a previous show on Wednesday. I think I said it doesn't go past round 5. Wilder Ortiz 2 does not go past round 5. I'll put money on that. No, I'm not encouraging anyone to gamble. Helping the neighbor sue. Not encouraging anyone to gamble at all. Yeah, I hope Nigel Benn doesn't end up doing a Roy Jones. That's crazy. He's come back for one fight. I just hope he keeps his faculties, mate. This boxing malarkey ain't nothing to joke about with, especially when you're for the over 50s and the over 49s. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game for the best of them. And when you start rolling back the years, like trying to roll back the years like that, I don't know. At least Ortiz has been consistent with it. Nigel Benn's coming back after 23 years. I don't know. I really don't know. So it was a full topic sheet, and we got to pretty much all of them. There's only one thing I left off. Out of the conversation because I looked at the caliber of it, and probably sound. I don't know. The caliber's okay, but I don't know if it's got enough depth yet. The last thing I left off the topic sheet that's on the topic sheet that I didn't discuss, we'll roll that over to Wednesday. That's exactly what we'll do. We'll roll that over to Wednesday. Okay, folks? I think you got your money's worth tonight. We got 2 hours, 53 minutes, and 30 seconds worth of entertainment. Wouldn't have been so bad if he'd been fighting another 50-year-old. Yeah, exactly. Saku Biku's in his early 40s, I believe. Early 40s. Saku Biku, is that how you pronounce it? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, let me have a look what's going on over on the YouTube side. Okay. That like button has not shifted, but we can't force people to press the like button. That's not a problem. Okay, folks, that's the end of the show. It's been Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. That's the name of the channel. The name of the show is Boxing Talk with Raphie. It's Boxing Talk with Raphie, episode 51. And I'm wondering, where's Ped gone? Was he ever here? Was Ped ever here? Has he conked out? Ped's passed out. Donate for story time. Yeah, on Wednesday. Get your donations in for story time. Okay, so it's been Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. And it's the Boxing Talk with Raphie, episode 51. It's been nice sharing this time, sharing this boxing talk with you, people in the chat right now and people in the chat in the future when they see the play back. And it's the Big Boys Boxing. It's the Red Glove Militant. It's the Toby Bartlett. It's the Reggie Rocket Reggie. Okay. And is there anybody still in here who I haven't mentioned? Yeah, loads more. It's the Rue 504. And who else is still in here? Who else is still in? Of course, we can't forget the contributions of the EJ Boxing, of the John Dealey, of the PBC's finest, the Brooklyn Child, says he's joining us on Wednesday. Brooklyn Child is at work, so he couldn't make it tonight, but he's going to try on Wednesday. No promises, man's got to work. Last one. How could we forget the last one? How could we forget the Ross Clot? And I'm sure there were many more, too numerous to mention. So we've come to the end of the show. Mr. Raphael Dawkins, the Boxing Talk with Raphie, episode 51. And it's the Dr. Woodak. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. We'll be back right here. Of course, the Phil Walker. Almost forgot the Phil Walker. The Justin Trouble. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comment. It's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Another good show. Another one in the bag. See you right here. Same place, same time, 9:45 Mondays and Wednesdays. It's the Boxing Talk with Raphie. And I'm out. Blessed.